Oh yeah, also part of the problem is slick back attorney.
Oh yeah.
People like him part of the problem. Because when we went to court with Tusa, there was the prosecutor, the state prosecutor. He was Asiatic, and the public defender was also Asiatic.
Wow.
And they were in a small room together.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
Conflict of interest. Huh?
yeah, super conflict of interest. And then the magistrate was a European woman. So it's kind of like, how do you not see this as a problem?
And they both pledged allegiance to her.
So, like, that's also part of colonization, like, the minds of our people.
Yeah.
Those people are deeply entrenched in that system. It's hard, well, for them to see other ways because they invest so much on the system, pay so
Yeah.
much money
Yep.
to get where they are,
Yeah.
the position they are.
And they don't want to lose
think
that.
the position they are.
Yep.
And,
They don't want to lose that power that they really don't have.
and the community, what's the name? Community that the guy is doing etymology for Abdullah sometimes.
Yeah.
He was telling this story about New York. This police officer, actually the detective, he was talking about what they do with all the statues, state, what do you say?
Statutes?
Statues, yes. They are actually bonds. They're all bonds. He was
Yeah.
talking about that, all bonds. And this detective went to the office of, what do you call the big office where the lawyer creating these bonds. And because of the knowledge you learn, you look at it and say, oh, this guy is creating the bonds actually for that case. So that's what he said, wow, these are all bonds. All the statues they create, they have bonds on them.
Yeah.
And if you can get the bonds and bring with you any court procedure, just ask him, give me the
Well, actually, I was about to do a like little presentation on like what the duty of the governor is, Secretary of State, Attorney General, stuff like that. And the Secretary of State here, what's her name? Nellie? Something. Ellie, right? Yeah. She actually signs the bonds and the oaths for people who take public office. So if we just go to the State House, go to her office, and we can get those bonds.
He actually said on that video on YouTube where you can get them. I just didn't write it down because I listen on my car when I go to work.
Wing 35, I think it is?
Huh?
In the basement, Wing 35, that's where I used to go.
State House?
It actually says on that video where you can get them. You can get all those bonds.
But we should be able to go to the Secretary of State
Yeah,
and get it.
No, it actually says you have to go over there and actually get it notarized. Make sure,
Which is her job to do.
yes, notarized because then you can bring it on the court and give it to all of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
This guy got
wrong.
This guy
I was
got,
just going to get a copy from the basement, but I wasn't getting it notarized.
yeah, it's gotta be notarized, make sure they know it's the real thing. Because if it's not notarized, anybody can make a copy and bring it. This way, it's proof. They notarize it over there, it's proof it came from their office, and their office only.
I seen
That guy got deep stuff.
it. Yeah.
And he's actually been studying, actually I just found out, he's actually studying that more, longer than Abdullah.
What?
Etymology.
Oh.
But he's deep in this court cases stuff. I didn't listen to him right now. I sleep, listen to it. Drive, listen
Wake
to
up,
it.
yeah.
Get up, listen to it. But so not everything stays up here. That's my problem because this sleeping, working nights, your brain, you don't rest much. Nothing stays sometimes. You gotta constantly listen to it so you can, this few more percentage stays here.
Yeah. That's really what studying is.
Yeah. The same thing is reading, you know.
Yep.
Still one more person, just give me one. Or two.
Hi.
Peace. How you doing?
Hello.
Hello.
Oh.
I was listening, I used to listen to all kinds of stuff. Oh, for UFO, for this, for that. It was, until I get to this knowledge, you know.
Yeah. I was there too.
Um, but I'm just trying to show. I don't know what he was talking about with George Bakers.
Don't forget about it. It keeps going up and up.
Do you have those or do I have those?
I have, but I took him out of my thing because I didn't want to bring him here for nothing. But right now, I'm just trying to show you Secretary of State Nellie M. Gorbea. Her duties. Boom, 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 boom. Where is it? Bonds. There we go. She issues bonds. So if you go to Secretary of State, we should be able to get all the bond information that we want.
In case, all the cases got bonds on them. And the bonds that we give to them, instead of you give the bond, you get the bond, give to them.
Yeah, yeah.
And the case is dismissed right there, so they dealing with this business.
Yeah, it is
No
business.
law.
And just like when we were in court with, well, tribunal, well, commercial court, with Tuga, the magistrate kept saying, all these people have business here, so we're trying to get this done. You know, it wasn't issues, it was business, meaning it's for profit.
People don't
Yeah.
correlate the two
Yeah,
together.
yeah. Yep. So, the original plan for class was to talk about what happened in court, well, commercial court Wednesday, because we have recordings of it. So we wanted to debrief everybody, because there's a lot of people's first time there, so we wanted to kind of catch people up on like what actually happened. Because a lot of people thought it was more serious than what it was, because they still think that the Europeans are legitimate government. So we were trying to like debrief them, like they're really not. They have no power. And it was obvious based on like when we were in there, the magistrate, her reaction to all of us being in there, you can see that they have no power. You know what I mean? And it's, for a lot of new people to see that, that's powerful. Because it just gets rid of all the fear that people might have. But since a lot of people aren't here yet, when we went to Abdullah's class yesterday in Delaware, we talked about, well, one of the issues that got brought up was how do we, Abdullah said we have to address the issue of the colonizers on our land. That's the only way we're going to be able to progress as a people. Now, one of the problems is a lot of our people don't know that their land is colonized because they don't know that this is their land. And Abdullah's point was, yeah, Obama signed the rights of indigenous people, but if you don't know that you're indigenous, then that doesn't mean anything to you. That's why I always bring up the Inter-American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, where it says those who were brought involuntarily to the New World are considered indigenous people. And a lot of our people think that they were shipped here from Africa, brought involuntarily to the New World. So if we just get them to accept that they're indigenous, then we can teach them about their nationality. And a lot of our people know that, you know, they're Native American Indians. We just gotta teach them that they're not Indian. So I just wanted to have like an open discussion on what else do you think, even though nationalizing is the key because that encompasses everything, or if we can like kind of pinpoint or try to elaborate on certain points that we can establish for the record and just, you know, meeting on the minds instead of me just running my mouth the whole time.
I emailed you to your personal email the court recordings.
All right, cool.
If you want to listen to them.
All right, so if anyone wants to add to the board or want me to write it down, what do you think, you know, besides teaching, even though teaching is like the main thing to spread awareness and to teach our people that A, your land is colonized, and B, this is your land and not from somewhere else. We brought up circulating the dollar within our own community, but that's the principle of nationalization.
Mhm.
Go ahead, you was gonna say something? No, I'm just running my mouth. Because our people always talk about, you know, the black dollar, we need to have the black dollar in our community, but we need to realize it's not really a dollar.
I would say supporting each other. So if you had a goal to build a building for a business, I should be able to come and help you out to get that started without, you know, asking you for a bunch of money and stuff, because I want there to be another Moorish business that I can go to and I can lean on.
Yep.
So it would be wise of me to go and help you if you need to clean up, if you need to paint, if you need to put some shingles on the roof.
Please.
Just be there to support, to take direction. What do you need?
Yeah, yeah.
And not be trying to get paid off of it.
Yeah, yeah, because it's kind of like, a lot of our people think that money is the main thing, but the issue is, there is no money. It's the energy, is you reap what you sow. So if, like she said, if we're trying to get a building together, if you just come sweep the floor, that's one less thing we have to do to get this running. You know what I mean? And then the building can be used to let, you know, a lot of our families have children. They don't want to send them to these European daycares because they're too expensive. So what if we just all got a building and just got our people to, hey, you know, this is a daycare, just promote it as a daycare, and then we start teaching them their children nationality. You know what I mean? And then since we're gonna get compensated for it, then we all got jobs. You know what I mean? We're not in it to get rich. We're in it to deal with these people, these Europeans on our land.
But how do we get compensated? That's,
We can use federal reserve notes. Why not? You've been using it.
they're going to, like,
So what I'm saying is, we have family members, right, who have children, and they go to European daycare centers, and they're paying these Europeans like $700 a week.
yes, they're expensive.
$700 a week for daycare.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're not paying, but they're giving the Federal Reserve notes. So let's say we get a building together, set up a daycare, and we charge them significantly a less amount. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like that to me, that's what like addresses this in a way, colonization.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we have full disclosure with the parents, like, yeah, you know, we're Aboriginal, Indigenous. Or we don't even have to say it, we can just post it on the wall, and then caveat emptor. You know what I mean? If you don't see it, that's on you. You know what I mean? So it's full disclosure. We're not tricking you. It's just, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like when our family bring them to European daycares, Europeans don't say, "Oh yeah, we're colonizers." They're just, you know what I mean? So like that's what I'm trying to get us to, like, how do we get out of this?
You know, a lot of other cultures do this, like babysitting daycare thing in their
Yeah.
basements, like finished basements.
Yeah, yeah.
And everyone in the community brings their kids there, and everyone in the community
children.
helps out.
Right.
Yeah, children.
And there's a library too, that, there you go.
Yeah.
no, I was doing that argument. Isn't there another animal that gives birth to kids?
I don't know. I'm not trying to go into that because that's kind of like over there. We just need to know that children is human. A kid is a baby goat. Just let's just keep it that simple. We don't gotta go into well, that animal also. You know, we don't gotta go into that. You know what I mean? But can you continue, please? I just want to.
Yeah, so a lot of the women or older women that don't work will just put in a couple hours, like 5 hours Monday.
Daycare.
Yeah, just everybody help out. Everybody brings food. Everybody brings diapers. If you make a big thing of stew or something, they'll bring it over for the kids to eat. Any toy donations, they help each other out.
Yeah.
And also I've seen networks happen where, you know, if your children outgrow their clothes, you can go to that same daycare and they have a bunch of clothes from the community
Yeah.
for any one of the kids. So they're helping each other out in so many ways.
Yeah. And like a lot more people think we need to get licenses from the state in order to do this, and we need to abide by like state codes and stuff like that. Once we realize that we're indigenous, the rights of indigenous people applies to us, or even just the First Amendment, the right to peaceful assembly, and then Declaration, the UN Declaration on the Rights of a Child, we have the right to educate our children, and rights of indigenous people have the right to educate our children. So it doesn't need, it can't be state regulated, because we're the state. Because the state is a group of people bound together by common law. We have a common descent, that's our nationality. That's the law that we're bound by. You get what I'm saying? Not the state statutes that we know that Rhode Island was incorporated, because it has it right on their seal. Like Broad Street, right near Bank of America, the McDonald's, and Family Dollar. It has the Providence seal on it, and it says incorporated 1832 or something like that. So it's a corporation. So that means it's not the land mass, right? We get that, right? So it's not the land, and these Europeans are from Europe, so they don't have jurisdiction over the land. So therefore, their laws don't apply to us. You get what I'm saying? So this is it's an easy thing to do. We just have to have awareness of what we can, of what we can do. You know what I'm saying?
All the states actually are, all the cities, I mean, they're all incorporated.
Yeah.
The city hall, you can see right there.
Yeah.
Incorporated 1800,
Yeah.
all of them at 1800.
Yeah.
Yeah. I drive 44 down, and I see all the cities incorporated, it's incorporated. They're all incorporated. All corporations.
They're municipal corporations, so they just deal with the administration of government, but they're not the land. You get what I'm saying? Like the U.S. Post Office deals with the administration of mail, but that's not the land. So the city of Providence deals with the administration of government, but that's not the land. You get what I'm saying? So they can't have jurisdiction over the land. You get it?
So how do we put it on paper and tell them in advance?
No, they know it. We're the ones who haven't known. They know.
But they deal with paperwork, so don't we
Yeah.
have to do it with paperwork?
Well, if they challenge us, then yes, we respond with paperwork. That's why one of the issues I bring up is putting our status on the record. Going to Gina Raimondo on camera with paperwork and putting them on notice. Like, if you see Moors with this, with an ID, Moorish ID, Moorish paper, anything, don't hinder us.
Yeah.
They know who we are. You know what I mean?
We have to start building a
We have to
record.
start being ourselves.
Yeah. Because a few here and there, it looks like we're not reclaiming our estate,
Yeah.
so.
Like when we showed up to that tribunal with like 20 of us,
Mhm.
that's nationality and like application.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, you touch one of us on our land, so now you gotta answer to all of us.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So let's say we have a daycare center. Some policy enforcer comes in, or whoever, you know, whatever they try to summons us to court. We're all showing up,
Yep.
every parent showing up, you know what I mean? Every faculty,
Extended
whatever,
family
showing
member.
up. Like, what's the issue here?
Mhm.
Because Europeans can't tell Americans what to do in America, because this ain't Europe. Like, it's that simple. We don't really go into, well, your bond says this, and it's that simple. Just like Chinese people can't tell us what to do here, because this ain't China. So anyone else want to add something? Because I think, like Noble Jolly said, I came for the children and yet unborn. So if we got the knowledge, we have a duty to teach the children, because, like Jolly said, from your Sunday school come the leaders of the nation.
I was thinking of building a library on that.
Mhm.
Build-
Yeah.
Mhm.
Of course.
A whole community center.
Yeah.
We need to build a joint fund of real money, gold, that can be used to purchase services or resources.
Now, how do we get that gold?
Well, right now, like I work, so my energy is converted to fiat.
Yeah,
But I can convert it and purchase gold with it and build it up over time. A bunch of us can donate a portion of
Yeah.
whatever purchase gold into one fund
Yeah.
for one goal.
Yeah.
You know, when we have a line of people together to, work whatever purpose. But the choice not to use gold in our transaction is ours.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But, but if we want to be fully constitutional, man, it should be real money.
Now, I'm gonna add what Noble Jolly said about that. Want to put on the projector? Or want to just read it?
Should be.
I agree. So this is from his Moorish Leaders' Historical Message to America. I'm just going to skip a lot. He said, in connection with our religious aims and beliefs, we must promote economic security. The preaching of economic security amongst us is by no means as widespread and intensive as the circumstances demand. No other one thing is more needed amongst us at this time than greater economic power, better positions for our men and women, more business employment for our boys and girls, and bigger incomes will follow our economic security. We shall be secure in nothing until we have economic power. A beggar people cannot develop the highest in them, nor can they attain a genuine enjoyment of the spiritualities of life. Now, in harmony with what you're saying, China and Russia switched to just gold back currency. Now, I don't think we as a people are in that position to do something like that. Now, amongst ourselves, yes, but then again, we're trading Federal Reserve notes, which we can use at any store, for gold who don't accept it. So again, we have to deal with time. So it always goes back to we need more people. We need more people nationalized,
Yeah.
and then we need to deal with the colonizers. And I think if we do what Noble Drali did and said to do, start with schools, because I know a lot of people have multiple children in my family who can't afford to pay Europeans 500 notes a week. You know what I mean? If we can do that for our people for cheap, because we're not trying to get rich off this stuff, if we can do it for cheap and still live. You know what I mean? I did some math with my mom. We didn't have to charge like a ridiculous amount, and we can live off that. And we're actually caring for the children, not just, oh, this is our job, and giving them an education. You know what I mean? So I think that's our ticket to Easy Street right there. So yeah, right in harmony with what you're saying, Noble Drali was on it. We'll be secure in nothing until we have better economic power. We're just going to what economics is in the law. I'll take it over here. Y'all want to add something? Anything to this? Let's go to what economics is. Just so it's clear on what economics is. Economy, frugality, prudent economy includes that which pertains to the satisfaction of man's needs. Was it? Economy, frugality includes that which pertains to the satisfaction of man's needs. So what do we need? We need our own school, right? To combat the John D. Rockefeller schools, right? That's maybe, that's in Noble Drali. Noble Drali said every temple must have a school. So I think this is one of the best and easy things to do, because we all got grandmothers who've been raising children for years and know how to do it. We all got mothers, aunties who know how to do it. You know what I mean? It's not like we're not equipped to do it. It's just we haven't been actively, well, as far as my family goes, we haven't been actively trying to put something together. You know what I mean? So if we're all coming together and trying to learn about our nationality and birthrights, right in the Circle 7 it says the glory of the king is the welfare of the people. So how do we make a better economic base for us? That's the goal. You know what I'm saying? Anyone want to add anything? I'm just running out. I want the minds to churn like butter. Like butter.
We had the building.
Yeah.
I can get people in.
Yeah.
As far as playing the game, I used to do TF Green, American State Commission, Big.
As far as the supporting each other thing, we gotta let each other know when we have any cases tribunal, so
Oh, yeah.
we can all show up.
Yeah.
So more and more people that are not aware, your loved ones that
How
don't
people-
want to believe you, that want to stay asleep, can witness for themselves
Yeah.
what's going on in reality.
Because when I first started playing along, when I first came back up here, they started getting me into the court. I just started picking up the law books and I was having some treatments. And magistrate turned off colors and then I started walking out and the last time, I got all the way home and then a concerned citizen, which happened to be a barrister, called the cops on me and they took me in front of my children and my sister and her children.
Mm-hmm. That's part of Willie Lynch.
Yeah, ever since that, I had no problems.
Yeah, it wasn't for you, it was for them.
Yeah.
Like when you read the Willie Lynch manual, it says how to deal with a rebellious Negro is you embarrass him in front of his family, his wife, his children, and other men, so that they don't stand up either. You know what I mean? Like the Inquisition and the democracy is based on fear, so that's really what it is. I mean, it really wasn't for you, it was for them.
Yeah, and the cops was like, well, you know, I'm really sorry, man, because, you know, we call this after the fact. I kept on hearing that language all the way to the ACI, after the fact.
Mhm.
So then when I got out, I looked up after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh,
They know what they're doing.
I haven't been back since.
All right, so back to this, because this is stuff I think about all the time. How do we get out of this? You know, it's not going to be one person to come up with the answer. It's going to be what we do, which is the will of Allah, really.
Even what we're doing here, we end up bouncing from library to library. If we had support from everyone in this room or everyone that comes to class and the people online, we would be able to get a building,
Yeah.
because we would be able to do the daycare thing.
Yeah, if we had a building
We would be able to do
and
a
class.
class, library, community gatherings.
Yep.
So we can stay connected, and if anybody needs space for business,
Yeah.
there's so
So-
many things we could do.
Yeah, like what Noble Drew Ali did, he had, Moors had their own businesses. And through those businesses, they were paying taxes to run government,
Mhm.
because that's how it works. You know what I'm saying? Because governments are set up to protect the people. So Drew Ali was reestablishing government. Glory to King, what praises people, who's teaching people, own your own stuff, right? And from that, it takes finance to raise a nation, help us run government to protect y'all.
Mhm.
So if we all pool money together to get a building, and we do a daycare in it, right? Or a child care center, that's what I like to call it, because it sounds better, I think. It sounds more legitimate to me, so I say child care center. But, we have a child care center in it, and then what else can we do in it? Like rent space? Well, the child care center will probably be like 5 days a week.
Just say somebody's a carpenter, a place to meet people, and have an actual office space
Yeah.
to meet clients and do something. We could do photography in a room. We can, use a space for art.
So what you're saying is the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, this.
You just need a building.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
really, like even if we had something like this, like
Mhm.
a kitchen, a store space,
Scientology.
and it was ours,
Eddie Street.
Mhm.
So then the question is, how do we make it ours
Yeah.
in alignment, paper-wise?
yeah.
How do we take?
That's where it always goes back to addressing these people. And us collectively going to Gina Raimondo or Georgie Lorza or whoever the next mayor or governor is gonna be, and saying, we're getting this building, right to indigenous people, we're gonna record it, put them on notice, don't mess with us. It's that simple.
Mhm.
But it needs to be more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 people doing it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I think, I'm not saying that's it. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. But I think it needs to be more than 11.
Mhm.
Or I know for a fact it needs to be just more than me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? but that was a good point.
And then all those people need to be active
A
too.
allodial, yeah, allodial title.
Now, will we be able to do that with like undeveloped land and then build up?
Yeah.
Like a shed or a school or
Yeah.
whatever?
But there's actually, we were doing research, there's actually schools, like abandoned schools already in existence, so we don't gotta go through all that extra stuff.
Yeah,
All we gotta do is say, hey, feudal landlord, because this ain't your land, quit claim, right?
Yeah.
Quit your claim. Why? Why do we tell Europeans to quit their claim?
Could have no claims.
Yeah, because they have no claims. Why?
Second license. That's what we're
Well,
posting.
'cause this is not their
yes,
land.
but
The land,
why?
they have no claim to the land.
Say again?
They have no claim to the land.
Yeah, yes, but why don't they have claim to the land?
The second class citizen. I
Well,
can't cover back.
well, elaborate. Why don't they have claim to the land? Why don't Europeans have claim to this land?
It's not theirs. It's not
It wasn't
They're
theirs
blessed.
yet.
Because it's not Europe, exactly.
Right, it's not your, okay.
It's that simple. It's that simple. That simple. So once we start to realize it's that simple, then you know, like, you wouldn't even ask how do we get the local title? You're from Europe, right? Oh, yeah, leave us alone. You know, like that's how we should be thinking. That's what I think. I think that's how we should be thinking.
Yeah,
Because it's kind of like if you have a child, right? And you tell them what to do, and you look at them like, I just told you what to do. Do it. It's no like, I'm the parent, so you have to listen. No, do it, or you go into your room, you're not getting no snacks, whatever. Because like if you look at the situation, we're working their jobs.
yeah.
We're keeping their businesses running. So recognize us, or we're not working people. Which we shouldn't work with them anyway, right? But so my point
I'm
is,
having a hard time eating though.
huh?
I'm having a hard time eating without the fiat on that note.
Yeah, but all right. Is the fiat money?
No.
What is it?
Promissory note.
Promise, debt note.
Yes. What does it represent?
Debt,
Means of exchange.
energy.
Yes, it represents the energy. Now, where does that energy come from?
Us.
Us, right?
Yeah.
So do we need it? No, we don't. So will you starve without it? No, you won't. I got a garden, and it grows a bunch of food.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So,
How do you apply it?
yeah, exactly how you apply the energy. So if we apply it to a building that we can make finance off of, none of us are starving. What are you talking about? Especially, I'm picking on you a little bit, but especially if there's land,
Yeah.
we can just grow food, like, oh, yeah, we watching your children, we grow our own raspberries and stuff like that, yeah, so they're eating good, don't worry about it, no GMO, nothing. We're not gonna ask you to vaccinate your children because we ain't dumb. You know what I mean? Like, if we realize how much power we actually had, these people would have been gone.
Just like when we were at court last week, the the magistrate had to ask Souza
Yeah.
for permission to rule on his case.
Yeah. And how many people in that room did that go right over their fez? Even though I was the only one with the fez. right over their head, right?
Yep.
I mean, there's certain things people hold on to, that's why people were laughing, but it's really a show. It's really an appearance.
And you recorded that, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Are you gonna put it where?
We're gonna play it, but I want Tuesday
Okay.
because I want to like explain
Still happening.
because he recognized that she was trying to trap him into the language game.
Yeah, we started like looking back like.
Yeah, but he was on it. It's just I was already like a target because there was policy enforcers hovering around me, and Big Man was near me, so they was already looking at you. You know,
Yeah.
they were concerned with you. That's why they were sick. They wanted us to do something. You know what I mean?
I was just making sure.
Yeah, I know. We were all,
Thank you.
yeah.
By the
You
way,
were trying to protect her, like,
Yeah.
which is what we're supposed to do, but remember when we walked outside, there was 15 more of them.
Right.
Yeah.
So they were looking for
That-
something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Looking for excuse.
I wasn't trying to be,
Oh, I know. I know you weren't trying.
Yeah.
You're just a big dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of like, hey, you don't gotta try.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. They were scared. They
Yeah,
were scared. And especially your energy is like, we're not playing.
Yeah,
You know what it is.
yeah.
Nah, I was gonna just stand and like, put him like, nah, it's not gonna
Yeah.
happen.
No,
But-
yeah, yeah.
Nah,
Even that.
nah, you know.
No, yeah.
put-
Even
I
that,
know. I know you're not dumb, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just saying like, even before you came, they were afraid of us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, like, we really have the power.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they really fear us coming together
Mhm.
and thinking.
I see you I have school on there for kids.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Children.
was-
The baby go.
Sorry about that, children.
Yeah.
So, I was talking to my family, my cousin before we came here, and I was telling him how boys are different from, you know, the females, how they act,
Yeah, yeah.
and how, I don't know how they try to feminize the
Oh, yeah, yeah.
boys now.
Mhm.
I tell them, sit down, stay still,
Mhm.
you know, be quiet, and that's
Yeah.
not their nature.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
their nature is
To be active.
yeah, and to
Yeah.
like, you know, not saying
Aggressive.
a woman isn't,
Yeah, yeah.
or a female doesn't have that nature,
Mhm.
but, you know, more of a
It's
man,
more
they have that
prominent in men.
testosterone.
Yeah, that's just a science.
Yeah, so,
Oh, yeah.
that's why I was saying, you know, because, you know, I was listening to, I don't follow him, but, Umar Johnson,
Mhm.
and he has good ideas, but he doesn't, I don't know if it's just to
They talk a good talk.
yeah,
but
but
they
it's
never
not,
implement
yeah,
anything.
yeah. It's just good game, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's,
They know how to pinball.
yeah, yeah, they
That's
do.
true.
They do.
They just.
They got me,
Pimps and seats.
someone got me, I paid to see
Yeah.
a couple of these speakers, you know what I'm saying? But I can't say that I was conned because I walked away
Yeah.
with something, more valuable
Mhm.
than currency.
Yeah, yeah. But they still keep you denationalized.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is the remedy.
Right.
But yeah, damn, what was I about to say?
You were circling children.
Oh, yeah, I was doing kid.
Because I was saying
stop
kids.
Referring to our children as baby goats, but they're not. And then when they act out of line, it's because we keep putting that energy on them that they're baby goats. And then literally, the mind is forced to become what it thinks, because that's what it does. You know what I'm saying? So we wondering why our children acting like baby goats. It's because we keep calling them kids. And it might sound funny, because it kind of is, but it's the truth, you know what I mean?
Yeah, could you imagine growing up in a house where your parent or parents are, you know, you're a loser, you suck,
Yeah.
you're not as good as your sibling.
Yeah,
That's gonna drill into your head and you'll become that.
yeah. There's actually a Chinese dude, I think, he had 3 glasses of water, and every day he spoke positive things to one, negative things to the other, and then the third one he neglected. And the neglected one was actually worse than the one that was spoken to negatively, because at least it had attention. You know what I mean? The
Yamamoto?
negative one was, the one that was
Yamamoto?
ignored was,
His name is Yamamoto.
yeah, I think so, yeah.
Crystallize the water,
Yeah,
does all that,
yeah,
takes pictures on it and
yep.
shows the,
What do you mean the water had negative effects?
So, you know, when we speak, it's vibration.
Yeah.
So the positive water stayed clear. When he was saying bad things to
the crystals.
the second water, yeah, that one turned dirty. And then the one that was ignored was like worse than the dirty one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because at least the dirty one had energy, you know what I mean? The ignored one was just
Water's
tainted.
alive.
You go,
Because it was
go on
still.
YouTube and put Yamamoto water, and you can see the pictures.
Mhm.
So have you ever, everybody's been to church, so have you ever heard this saying, the living water?
Yeah, yeah,
You're actually the living water,
yeah.
and that experiment is actually what they do to us.
Yeah, yeah.
And that works
With the music
in us
too,
too, because
yeah,
we
it's vibration.
70% water.
Well,
And
yeah.
we thought you
Yeah.
have negative, it affects you
Yeah.
internally. Your waters.
Especially the vibrations.
Yeah, because it is vibration.
Changes the
Same
way,
water,
changes the way the water reacts.
Everything got vibrations. It's
Yeah.
food got vibrations. It's
Yeah.
got vibration.
Yeah, yeah. Now you're dealing with the 7 matter principles.
For new, like I asked you, where do we start at? Like,
This is
where we
where-
start this, yeah,
What do you mean, like studying?
yeah, studying, yeah.
If you want to start studying, go to this website. Yep. rvbaypublications.com.
Pass that over.
There's, I would dare to say too much information on it. You know what I mean?
I've been on,
But it's great. And then, you can also YouTube this guy right here. Nah. Why would I promote myself on my own thing? This guy on YouTube, Culture Today. He will get you to a master's degree in a day. But he's a master teacher.
Oh, the House of Reawakening Minds, they have a Facebook where they release videos a few times a week. But what's their name? Naila and Tamara? They're working on a YouTube page.
Yeah.
So they'll have a YouTube where you can get a lot of Taj soon.
So the way I started, huh?
They actually have they have a website, and they put videos over there.
You know the website?
Yeah, I'm trying to find out. Trying to get it.
So what I started by watching all of Taj's videos over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, so I could get concepts. You know what I mean? Then I was like, okay, now I need to read it, because I get what he's saying, but now I need to verify it. So the first book I got was Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, and the American Dictionary on the English Language, Noah Webster's 1828. Just because he was saying, you know, black means pale, Americans, the various Coppertone natives, black, civil, little more twos, color means something fake, so I needed to verify what he was saying. Then I got the books. And then once I thought I had the concepts right, I started reading everything on R.B. Bay, and then at first it didn't make sense, but then I just kept studying. And then I got my library game up, and then now I'm here. So it's just a process. That's how I started. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure everyone started different. But the point is to just start.
Yeah. You're gonna
Like-
feel
like
lost.
Uber always said, I brought you something you can't tear up, it'll tear you up. You know what I mean? Like you can't, like once you, I think once you learn this stuff and you realize how beneficial it is to you and your family, how dare you not study it? Because then what are you doing? You know what I mean? But yeah, I recommend starting RV Bay and watching Taj 3K's videos. Any other questions? All right, so anyone want to add any other ideas to this? Because the point of this is to kind of get us to think. Just throw anything out.
USC,
USC?
United States Code,
What about them?
what's the place studying?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. This is actually a website. Hmm?
No,
I'll write that down.
I have a question.
Yeah.
This is for everybody in the room.
Can you speak up?
What do you guys want out of this group? Like, what is your goal?
And don't say to learn. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, obviously, we're here for that initially,
Yeah, yeah.
but do you have any other goals for this group?
Do you have squad goals?
Yeah, basically. Because, like, a goal of mine is, and me and Jamal talk about this often, is for us to be a tighter knit group and go to court with each other, help each other with writs, help each other with business, like really build a good foundation and be an example for other groups in other territories to start. Because it's as easy as just doing it. Just start. Just do it. Jamal was literally teaching no one by
I
himself.
was literally taping a phone because the police had my phone. I let them borrow it. They had my phone. So my sister was letting me use her old phone, and I connected to my Wi-Fi, and I was taping it to my TV sideways, right, in my basement with a suit on and my whiteboard, and that's how I started. And then she was like, let me upgrade my stupid ass cousin. Because no one's going to watch your videos in a terribly lit room, and you're just talking crap. And then we just started going to the library and talking around my mouth, and then now y'all are here.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much the goal, just do it.
I'm on the same page as you though, like create a society
Yeah, Journal
Yeah,
Society.
yeah.
Whereas we could bring in followers, or people come in and they find out the truth, whatever, but it's like when people come, there's a lot of things that we need to do as well. Like basic literature, meanings of words.
That's why I wrote the book. Well,
Yeah,
that's
so
why
I'm
I
saying
wrote my
like
book.
even the meanings where it was like we take some paper, we print out just certain words like traveling, traveler,
Yeah, yeah.
automobile,
Yeah.
just the meanings and where, like 100 different words.
Like a guideline.
And
Yeah.
we start right there.
Yeah.
I
You know?
did
That-
that when I
Yeah.
first started getting into it, so I did this paper called Drivers versus Travelers. through Black
Newspaper.
Black
Yeah.
Girls.
That's what we need. Newspaper.
Started handing.
Yes.
Not-
Some kind of literature that we create
A
on
newspaper.
a weekly or a monthly basis.
Yeah.
We can-
Not even that. I mean, just
What you're talking about is a newspaper.
not even that.
That's
I
what
mean,
said.
somebody like if my car broke down or if there's policy enforcers on my back and I can say, oh hey, Jamal lives like 3 blocks from here. Let me call him. So at least I'll have some type of more support, or at least I can call somebody and tell them
Yeah.
I'm here. They're harassing me.
Yeah, yeah.
They're terrorizing me.
Which also includes putting, I'll just write it down. Put our status.
Mhm.
With the mayor, the governor, secretary of state, the general assembly, all these people. Because when you do research on the House Joint Resolution 75 or 175, on my birthday, 1933, in Philly, the representatives recognized the Moorish titles of nobility. But that's because Moors were active in that area, so their status is on the record.
Yeah.
And then in the History Timeline Part 2 video that I did, I showed like 15 other, was it 15? Like 15 other municipal corporations who recognize Moors on the record. So we need to get the colonial mayor and the colonial governor to do the same thing. Not so we say, oh yeah, they recognize us. So we can show our people like, look,
Mhm.
they recognize you, wake up. Because we know who you are. We just gotta help them realize who they are.
Mhm.
Because we can't leave them. When I say them, I'm talking about our people think that they're Negro, Black, Colored, Indian, Spanish, Latino, Afro-Rican, Puerto Rican. So,
I don't know if you want to do it like this, but I know how you can generate people to come is by debate.
no, not a debate.
Not
a debate. A
not
debate,
debate,
is a,
but some
is a
kind of
disagreement.
well, not a disagreement, but like a come together
Like a
of
council,
minds. Yes,
council.
yeah, something.
But this is right now. I don't know if you know this, but this is a council right now.
Mhm.
Good.
What I mean is like, you know how it might be Christian
Yeah.
that might say, okay, well, this guy don't know what he's talking about.
Oppositional groups.
Yes. So now you get a group of Christians here that's backing their guy. And you have us here that we know the truth. And his truth is not going to be able to stand up to yours at all.
Yeah, but that's up to like.
Well,
what people
okay, say 1 or 2 people out of that group see that.
Yeah.
Now you have 1 or 2 people out of that group that'll say, you know what, I'm gonna follow this dude on on YouTube now and start getting more and more.
Yeah.
And those 2 people got 3 other people, and I don't know, maybe I don't know.
I
It's
see
just
what
an
you're saying.
idea.
I see what you're saying, but I don't debate with people
Mhm.
because to me there's nothing to debate. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like
That would be a
It's
lot of
like-
energy too.
this is a book, right?
Mhm.
I'm not gonna have a group of Christians come and debate whether or not this is a book. You get what I'm saying?
Right, I understand. What you-
Because that's a waste of my energy. I'd rather say, what do we want to do with our energy and direct it somewhere? You get what, and now that I brought that up, I want to bring this up for Marcus Garvey because since we're talking about energy. Huh?
He says the Roman.
No. And I'm just trying to add on to what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to dismiss what you're saying at all. But what you
I
were saying, it
I
kind of
understand what
reminded
you're
me of
saying,
South
kind
Letter.
of, it's just like spinning tires, basically.
Yeah,
is
no,
what you're saying.
well, I don't wanna just spin tires, I wanna actually go, I just
Right.
gotta go somewhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think just debating with people, cause that, like, you know, that kind of builds ego, like, oh yeah, I got a lot of views on this, like, I'm not into that.
You know, it's a good way to bring people in, leading by example.
Yeah.
How many people we walked out of court and they were like, I'm coming, like, I'll be there,
Okay,
give me the
but that's what people
YouTube.
say.
Yeah, but at least
They
they,
say.
no, at least they were open enough to watch it happen. There was people that their situation was already handled, their matter was handled, and they refused to leave because they had to see what was
Yeah,
going
they wanna
on.
show support anyway.
Yeah.
And I think that comes with like a sense of pride.
Mhm.
Like, you take pride in yourself, because a lot of our people don't take pride in themselves. Because they don't know themselves, and they definitely don't love themselves.
Mhm.
So you can't really love anyone else until you love yourself.
And what's a better way than
This will ever
just
grow.
doing it and succeeding?
Yeah.
Because then people are, you
Well-
know, that's how we are.
Well, can I
How'd you get that
interject?
car?
What is succeeding to our people? Because a lot of our people think you have Jordans on your feet is succeeding.
Mhm.
I know people who are buying fake jewelry. I've been in, like, this person was like right next to me, right? We were going somewhere. He just got kicked out of his house, his apartment, because he wasn't paying rent. And he wanted to go out. So we went to the mall, he bought like fake jewelry to try to impress women, and his man's homeless. But you know what I'm saying? Like that's
Yeah.
something wrong with that.
Mhm.
And at the time, I didn't really pay attention to it. But then, like in retrospect, I was reflecting, I'm like, what the? You got kicked out, and you decided to spend your money, well, your notes on fake jewelry to
Yeah.
go out. Like, what are you doing? Like that's crazy. So when you say successful, what do you mean by that?
For instance, court, handling your affairs, running your own business, being educated, those types of things those attract people. When they see you're happy and fulfilled, that attracts people, and they want to know how you're doing it.
Yeah.
Or they want to know what you know. People cling to you all the time. Just because people follow you around just because they want to know what he knows.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no better way to bring people or attract people or positive energy is to be positive and to just conduct your business.
And there's this saying, there's too many chiefs, not enough Indians. A lot of our people want to be chiefs, and they haven't established shit. Right?
Yes.
You're laughing because you know it's true, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's wild, like,
I think the first thing is mental health is needs to be taught.
yeah.
Yeah.
In order for them to be able to cross over from their God Christianity to their Moorish ways, because they're not going to do that until they learn that first, which is, as you said, self-love and things of that nature, self-responsibility. Don't blame this person for your actions and where you're at.
Yep.
Learning to pay your rent on time as an adult, so you won't be homeless
Yeah.
or living with other people, you know, things like that. Don't go out there and have 5 kids if you can't financially, physically, mentally support them by different women, because you can't be a father to all these children if you're spread out.
You're struggling.
Right, so that's the first thing, and when they realize that, then they can possibly come over.
Yeah.
So, as long as Jordan comes out with whatever, 2018, if he didn't already, it's
Being able to know that we govern ourselves.
And speaking of government, I was about to go right to this, because you're right, we do govern ourselves. This is what Marcus Garvey said. This is from Granchi Cujo's book. I'll say the title after I read this, because I got to scroll up. So Marcus Garvey said, government is not infallible. Government is only in executive control, a centralized authority for the purpose of expressing the will of the people. Before you have a government, you must have the people. Without the people, there can be no government. The government must be, therefore, an expression of the will of the people. And this is Granchi Cujo Agho L's book titled Noble Draw Plenipotentiaries and the Negro Black Colored Addiction. And that was a quote from Marcus Garvey. Because there's like, to add on to what you're saying, there's a group called USAR, and they talk about how they're a government of Moors, but they're always asking people to join their government. But you don't have the government, you have to have the people. So how you a government with no people? Huh?
Who'd you say that was?
USAR, C. Cannon Bay, well, C. Cannon Bay exempt, and J. Dexter Bay exempt, because they ain't based, they're plain people. But they're trying to say they're a Moorish American government, but then they're trying to get people to join, like how? The government don't exist without the people, because the people are the ones who run the government. You get what I'm saying? So you're right, we need to learn how to govern ourselves. And even with, remember when I was sending communications to John A. Murphy, the city tax collector and the recorder of deeds? In his letter, he admitted that they're not government.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So if we're gonna claim ownership of property, and you look at like images of Nobu Ali, he had his own records. We need to have our own records.
Yeah, that's like every corresponding you have, you make a copy for me, you notify me,
Yep,
you make me a witness to.
yep. So it's on the record. It's on
Yep.
their record, it's on our record, and I got a copy, and I put it on YouTube. You know what I mean? So no one can say Moors aren't here. You know what I'm saying? That's also part of the record, like our people's minds. So yeah, we govern ourselves.
Because at court, she didn't dismiss him as being crazy
No,
or senile. or
they were
anything.
quiet, and he was reading everything.
They knew.
Yeah.
Believe me, they would use their authority if it wasn't valid.
Yeah, but they don't have any authority. That's the thing.
Yeah. But what they think they have,
Yeah,
they would
yeah.
have started growling, get out of here, tase, call
Yeah.
other people.
We'd have been handcuffed.
Yeah.
Get out of here, what are you doing?
Yeah.
They was ready. I
The way
seen,
that they
listen,
beat-
I seen it on that guy's face.
Which
He
one?
was ready to grab her.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have said anything
If you didn't recognize.
if I didn't recognize it at all. But I just felt his
No.
energy was like,
As soon as you said you're not gonna put your hands on her, I felt the energy. Everyone was like, "You're damn right."
Yep,
Even though we didn't say it, I felt that we all thought
yep,
that.
we were all ready.
But
That's
that proves there's
what
merit
needs
to
to be
this.
done. Say again.
Basically, that proves there's merit to what
What we're doing. And that was the point of having everyone show up. Like, look how they fold.
And that's how we should show up every time.
Yeah. Tuesday turned the paper and she was like, you know, she's like, quiet, I can't think. You know what I mean? Like, it's so hard to think with all these papers turning.
They lock the court doors. That's the first time I ever seen them lock a courtroom
Yeah.
door. It's a public
Mm-hmm.
room.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be able to go
But
there
it's
now
not
until
public, it's
closed.
private.
Yeah. I guess.
People just think it's public. It's private. Like she said, there's people who have business here.
Mhm.
That's private for profit. Like, there's a lot that our people need to see, but sometimes they can be a
That
lot.
was a good start, though. That was a good start.
Yeah.
So many people wanted to see, so many people that didn't know what was going on, was like, I'm staying to the
Yeah,
end.
they got a
Yep.
crash course real good.
I know there's something fishy going on.
Yeah.
I know I never heard anybody or seen anybody act like that towards a magistrate ever in my life.
You talking about Tuzo?
Yeah.
He finessed it.
And then he was like, I'm taking my time, I'll put my
Yeah,
paper.
he's like, I'll be here till, he was like, I'll be here till 2 o'clock.
Did
And he
you
like
see-
confirmed it with the process, like 2 o'clock, that's good, right? It was like,
He was blowing on his paper.
yeah, like that gives our people confidence, because our people think when you go to court, you're gonna get tackled, you're gonna get arrested, and you know what I mean? Like that,
Mhm.
that instills confidence in people. Like how, the fact that he was confident and he hasn't been studying for months, he met me 2 weeks ago, and he sunned the magistrate, sunned her
That's how we-
on his land,
Mm-hmm.
is, what more do you need me to say? You don't need to come to class no more, you see it, you get it. You know what I mean? And he did that with what? No nationality card in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
He just said, that's how I told you, Bay. That's where you're gonna call me, and you don't have jurisdiction.
He did that with the blood in his body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know him since he was a little kid, so.
He was a baby goat.
I mean,
I mean, I don't know, you know.
I apologize.
Remember those little children's books? It shows you the animorphs.
Hmm.
You know, the person turned into a wolf, and then it sort of
Yeah,
have pictures of
yeah.
turning
Get
into
turned
humans.
to a goat.
Oh,
That would be funny, but, nah, keep doing that, because that's the only way that's the only way some people would get it. I mean, I don't take that as a disrespect.
Oh, he gets
All
me,
vernacular.
he gets
I
me
do it all the
all
time.
day,
Yeah,
all day.
I do it all the time, so do it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely do it to me, because, you know, I'm an Aries, I like to challenge anyway,
Mhm.
so. Challenge me. That's the only way we're gonna go together.
Should we be going by the Greek,
What?
zodiac?
What you mean? Like,
Call
call me Aries?
yourself an Aries.
Yeah, why not? It's ours. Who are the original Greeks?
This is new to me, so I guess
Oh,
us.
well, oh yeah, get this book.
That's what I'm talking about.
Did I bring it?
Yeah, they're showing the vase,
Hmm?
there's a vase.
Oh, yeah, you can just Google that. Get this book, Ancient and Modern Britons. And it'll tell you that the original Britons,
I'm gonna take pictures of
yeah, take pictures of
every
all this
last
stuff.
book.
Ancient, in this book, he talks about how the original Britons were, they call themselves children of the sun. Pretty sure.
It's definitely like,
Oh, yeah. You wanna show them that one?
So yes, you see like pamphlets like those?
Yeah.
Those are for RBA.
Basic dictionary pamphlet?
Oh, can I add on to that? I did this like little, like 7 frequently asked questions about the Moors. I was thinking like if you do pamphlets of that and hand it out to our people.
Yes, I was about to say that, like,
I was gonna bring mine.
Or
Mine
meetings.
is-
you go to the library
Yeah, yeah.
and you wanna learn something,
Yeah.
and they have a whole section
Yeah,
of whatever it is you wanna
Should I keep it
learn
on?
for dummies.
yeah.
Well, I don't wanna call people dummies.
I
I hate
know
that title.
Do you know who you
So
are?
instead
Yeah.
of doing a whole book
Yeah.
that way, but if you do the,
Call them
yes, a
absent-minded.
series of, no.
Like something like
I'm
this?
just thinking of, yeah.
Smaller than
something-
this?
Maybe smaller than that.
What-
because
what's that?
You want to have, you want to deliver it like every week. So you want to make sure that you give them enough time. Everybody has a different schedule, but at least they'll be interested in, like, wait, what was this? Little
Yeah.
graphics, pictures, things like that. That'll get people going because that'll
Spark
awaken
something.
their mind,
Yeah.
exactly.
What'd you say?
And the first thing is like, even with the definition of black.
Another thing is,
For 6 books.
another thing is, I know everybody's, time is, you know, at their discretion or whatever, more classes.
More classes? Well, if we had a building, I'll be in
That's
there.
the main thing, you have
Daily.
classes every day.
If we had a building, I'll be there daily.
We got houses, we
Yeah.
got
More
people.
than one prophet's
You can
coming
come to my
teach
house.
you
Oh,
and
yeah,
stuff, but
yeah.
that's the main thing.
Oh, yeah, I definitely, I always talk about trying to get Cujo out here, but we need like,
Yeah, in order to take
But
him
even
from.
the elders,
Yeah.
even the elders in our society can, you know, as we
Yeah.
gain knowledge, step up and start.
yeah, that's definitely
teaching
moving
some
me, the
people,
elders,
things like that
because
comes
I'm
in.
young.
So,
Mhm.
Oh, but, look, this is, from, huh? I don't have no documentation saying that. Right, this is Ancient and Modern Britain, so I can't start calling myself that. I'll be fraud, right? By David McRitchie, page 13. In addition to the black or brown and yellow races already spoken of in prehistoric Europeans, there is a theory that a copper-colored race closely akin to the branches of American Indians once inhabited Europe, or rather, the southern parts of Europe and North Africa.
that's Greece,
Yeah, so Moors were in Europe and Africa.
Mediterranean Sea.
And there's more stuff. There's a lot of stuff in this. And I reference this book in my book too, as well as a lot of other books. Because with my book, I try to just like,
This book here goes to explains the.
oh yeah, George G.M. James, Stolen Legacy. This is a great book. My grandfather gave me this book from his library, and it's phenomenal. This is a great book. Stolen Legacy by George G.M. James. Now, with the title of that book, it's kind of, they didn't really steal it.
You can look at that.
Because we
When you
talked
look
about
at that,
that,
you're gonna see what it's
Oh,
about.
I'm getting,
Dang,
my wife is already,
I was gonna say something, I just forgot.
I got over Amazon.
we just trying to
Wish list,
find.
I got, I don't know, many books.
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Any books that you
No, I was
refer-
talking about my book.
I look at all his, that's
Yeah,
my
yeah, but I was
cousin,
talking
so.
about my book, because I mentioned that book. Yeah, I referenced a whole bunch of books in my book, because I wanted it to be like a, yeah, just like a reference point for a lot of stuff, so you don't gotta buy all these books, because I put all the books in my book. Huh?
Did you bought the book? You bought the book?
Yeah, I wrote my book.
I got it.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm currently revising it, because it's like a lot. if there's one typo in something, I think it's a lot, because I like judge myself crazy. But I'm going through it right now, I'm trying to revise everything.
That's
Yeah.
a very, very,
So yeah, but if we had a building, I'll be there all the time, I'll do classes all the time.
Yeah.
And then with that energy, it'll get more attention, and then we can bring more people to fly out here, travel out here, and do their classes.
Seminars.
Yeah, exactly. And like kind of like the National Black Theater, I'm pretty sure they make a lot of fiat based on teachers coming and people paying. So if we had our own building, we could do the same thing.
Yeah.
yeah, that's why I was telling you about that.
Yeah. But like he said, we need to show that we govern ourselves. And what is government? Government is the will of the people expressed in whatever direction we choose. You get what I'm saying? It's just we need to know that first we need to be educated. Then we start forming the Drill Society. Remember the class that did on Drill Society? Then Drill Society. Weren't you there? I'll go into it real quick. Drill Society. Because so education is like the first step to government. Then the Drill Society is the second step. And then, well, I'm just free speaking right now. Then from the Drill Society comes, we elect whomever to do whatever, which is forming the trust, you know what I'm saying? You got my trust document, right?
Yeah, I need to learn how to do that.
Have
And
you
the national,
sent it to me or
not
you-
nationalization.
I think I emailed it to you.
Oh, email, yes.
Yeah, so part of the trust document is the Drill Society part, where I talk about,
Oh, I
the
think
wealth of
that's,
the people. All right, I'll just pull this up on the projector. Y'all want to take pictures of that, or you want to zoom in with the camera? Hey, can I erase this? So this is all still dealing with how to address the colonizers. Good? So, one of the main things I recommend, if you want to teach our people something, show them the Inter-American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, and show them in their definition of indigenous person, it shows that they recognize those who brought involuntarily to the New World are considered indigenous people. So even if our people think that we're from somewhere else.
so what's the name of that?
Inter-American, I-N-T-E-R, American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, signed by the American states. It would behoove me to put it. Behoove. Today. Empowering people, that was pretty good. Just realized I said that. So, a Juror Society. Juror, pertaining to natural or positive right and obligations. So, we're pretty much here to talk about our rights, right? What rights we have, what we're trying to do, like the allodial title, claiming ownership of property, those are our rights, right to travel, right? Or pertaining to jurisprudence. Juristic and juridical. So jurisprudence, juris means right or providence, or right or positive. Jurisprudence means science or philosophy. So we're all philosophers here, we're all scientists here. Recognized or sanctioned by positive law. Embraced within or covered by the rules and enactments of positive law. Founded in law, organized upon the basis of fundamental law, and existing for the recognition and protection of rights. The jural sphere is to be distinguished from the moral sphere, the latter denoting the whole scope or range of ethics or the science of conduct. That's the moral. The former, jural sphere, embracing only such portions of the same as having been made the subject of legal sanction or recognition. The term jural society is used as the synonym of state or organized political community. And also, we need to know the difference between what Noble Drew Ali talked about, a free national government, versus a federal government. So I'm just going to finish reading the definition of society, and then I'm going to have y'all try to explain what you think the difference is. Society is an association or company of persons, generally unincorporated, united together by mutual consent in order to deliberate, determine, and act jointly for some common purpose. A wider sense, the community or public, the people in general. That's what a jural society is. We get it? So it's what we're doing now. It's also considered a council, a meeting of the minds. All right, so let's go into state. A people permanently occupying a fixed territory bound together by common law, habits, and customs into one body politic, exercising through the medium of an organized government independent sovereignty and control over all persons and things within its boundaries, capable of making war and peace, and of entering into international relations with other communities of the globe. So a state is what? A group of people bound together by common law. So we think Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, those are states. Those aren't states. Those are municipal corporations, exactly. Brazil is a state. They're bound together by common law. That common law is their descent, their bloodline. You get it? Because when we look at the definition of nation, it says group of people of common, that word common again. Descent, when you deal with descendability, you're dealing with law. Because we're formed in the womb, that's based on law. So if you inseminate an egg, babies are going to come out of that. That's law, right? Cause and effect. So that's how we should be thinking about what a state is, right? Because our state is this. That's our state. Just like when you look up the organizations of the Organization of the American States, you got Brazil, Cuba, Colombia, Guatemala, those are states. Because they're a group of people bound together by common law and they can wage war. I'm not saying no, that's what their purpose is, but you get what I'm saying? Rhode Island can't wage war. You get what I'm saying? Who are you going to wage war with? Right?
So what's the difference between a state and a country then? She said
A state and a what?
A state and a country.
A country? Well, a country is a landmass. So,
I'm just trying to understand because
yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to explain it. A state and a country is pretty much the same thing. It's just,
when we talk law,
yeah.
how would you differentiate one from
Well,
another?
that's the thing, because when you talk about like Morocco as a state, it's the people, but the people are also the land,
Mhm.
and country means land.
So maybe
You get what I'm saying?
the country has to do with the land,
Yeah, yeah.
and state has to do more
With the
with
people.
mind.
Yes, but that's why, because people are named after the land or the land's named after people. So when you think Brazilian, you don't just think the Brazilian human, you think Brazil.
Yeah,
Brazil's the
land
country,
the land
the
mass.
people's the state.
Okay.
So the state is an extension of the mind
Well, yeah. the state
attached
is
to the
the-
land.
Yes, yeah, that, great. Does that answer your question?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
All right, well,
Hey, I'm clear now. I'm
okay,
very
okay,
clear
good,
than
good, good, good.
I was
Because
before.
I don't want to just say something and then like, yeah, I explain that. So now that we get that, when Noble Drew Ali said free national government, what do you think he was talking about? Or can you name the distinction between free national government and federal government? Based on like, because I know some of y'all have been here, y'all heard me run my mouth for a long time. So I definitely explained what the definition of this was. So can you try to explain what the difference between that and this is? If we break down like the words being used.
I would say that's for people and that's for the.
Administrators.
Private and public,
Say again?
private and public.
Okay, yeah.
That's for the people and that's for the
So
corporation.
you're saying this is for the people and that's the
Yeah.
corporation?
Yes.
Pretty much. So a free national government, remember the word nation is a group of people by common descent. So like you said earlier, show people that we are our own government. It's the natural people running their own government for their own interests on their own land. Federal government is just a contract government. So it's not even, it doesn't necessarily have to be the people of the land. It's just a contract government. That's the difference. So when you read Noble Drew Ali talk about those who are for peace. So when you read Noble Drew Ali talk about free national government, that's what he's talking about. The people, like the people of Brazil being the government in Brazil. The people of Morocco being the government in Morocco, not a federal government. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense? So this would be part of the Drill Society thing and comprehending what a state is. You get it? Yes? You good?
Yeah.
So yeah, government. Government being
Do you guys want to,
the
so
helm by which we
does this
guide our
sit here and
destiny.
here? Can you move down? I don't want to say your name on camera. There's two free seats right there.
Any questions so far? How am I doing? Do we need a break? Need a break? You want a 5-minute break?
If the person, the magistrate, isn't like able to take that case, meaning like level wise, they have no
Like jurisdiction?
Yeah, they have no
Yeah,
jurisdiction.
so, go finish your question?
No, yeah, that was it. Like, so is that like,
That's law.
well,
Alright.
yeah.
So, in the Constitution, there's only a civil court and a criminal court, right?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me finish this and I'll go to that.
You spell Nahi, Nahiganssett?
Hold on, I'll do it again.
I'm tired. That,
Yo, I was not.
you somehow like half the ride, man. It's knocked out.
I know you're tired, I know you're tired.
Oh yeah.
I know you're tired.
You can do 1 T, you can do 2 Ts. It's just, I stay away from Narragansett, because the Narragansetts are the ones who have joint memorandum of understanding who sell out their birthright.
That's what you bought that? So you bought that?
No, I mean. You go on there, he explains the science behind it. Nice.
Did you tell your sister how dope it was in
Last
Delaware? Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Was it you enjoyed Abdul's class?
Hmm?
You enjoyed his class?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Mm.
It's so, it's good, it don't feel like 4 hours, it don't feel like 3 hours.
The people were so nice too.
Yeah.
Kind.
Kind. The people were so kind.
What does nice
So-
mean?
Foolish.
I word, I feel like the word that comes from release, foolish, slaw, lazy, like a whole bunch of crazy other
Yeah.
words attached to it.
Uneducated.
Matter of fact, I got your hair right. Black Rose, right? Black Rose, right? If you wanna get into linguistics, Dr. Yaffa Bay is good for that. I believe she's a student at Tide.
Yeah,
What's her name?
Yaffa, Y-A-F-F. A.
She's in charge of that.
You know, I learned a lot of stuff from this guy called Jordan Maxwell. He's not a moron, but he has a lot of information as far as like the.
Jordan Maxwell?
Yeah. And then like there's other people that learn from him as well.
You watch the YouTube videos and stuff?
Yeah.
Jordan Maxwell.
I gotta say I was a fan, but I know about Jordan Maxwell, and again, he a European, so he's gonna say things.
Yeah, but I'm just taking a knowledge information, and you just up to you to decipher it, but I'm not listening to it from a European.
Yeah,
He has information and knowledge as
so
well.
what I'm saying is like, I've seen people get into him, and like, I'm saying us,
Yeah.
and then they're getting the information, but they're really like thinking they're European. So what I was saying was, like, when he's saying the information is out there, but he still tells you from the point of view as a European, you gotta be able to divert that
Yeah,
stuff.
but the thing is, the dude's very, very intelligent, the things he's putting out there is very
I'm not
truthful, so.
disagreeing with that.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm talking about, is information. I don't care about somebody.
Knowledge is
like,
neutral.
Yeah, whatever.
Like I could give you.
I understand what you're saying, but if a mortal know they're
I know,
European,
right?
then that's,
Like,
they need to not stop, they need to actually start somewhere else before Jordan Maxwell.
Yeah.
All right, so to answer your question, there's only two constitutional courts, civil and criminal. If it's a civil issue, you're paying a fine. If it's a criminal issue, you're doing time. Only Article 3 judges who have the constitutional power to adjudicate can make any judgments. That's why when she kept saying judge, he kept saying magistrate, because they're administrative clerks. So since they can, like, let's say we own a business, right? And I'm the secretary and you're the president. Since I'm the secretary, I can't do what the president does, because that's not my duty. I haven't been given that power. You get what I'm saying? So this person hasn't been given the power of a judge, so they can't adjudicate, which means they lack jurisdiction of the subject dealing with like whatever classification of law. And since they're Europeans, and this ain't Europe, they don't have personam or land jurisdiction. Personam means over the person, because we're not Europeans. That's why they had to trick us to make us think that we're 14th Amendment citizens, and we're black, and we're part of the United States, all that kind of stuff. That's how they're claiming jurisdiction, because we give it to them by saying we are it, right? So, the name of this country is Morocco. The occupational force is the United States. They have us call the name of the land, or the name of the country this, so that they have jurisdiction over the land. Just like they call this area New England, so they have jurisdiction over the land. Because when you say European, you're talking about Dutch, French, German, Portuguese, Polish. You get what I'm saying? And they're the ones running stuff around here. Like, there's certain areas you go to, and now you can't say, you'll see the flag of Portugal right next to the United States banner. And then again, when you read The Crescent Obscured by Robert Allison, you'll see that Thomas Jefferson was trying to form alliances with the various, like Spain and all that kind of stuff, to fight us. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, the name of our country is Morocco. That's where you're standing right now. Peace. You're lazy. Right you up. The name of the territory, so we need to know the difference between country and territory. Because the country is Morocco. This territory is Narragansett. You know what I mean? Like what they call Philadelphia, Shaka Moxum. You get what I'm saying? Those are the organic names.
You know other organic names?
Not all of them. I would be like a genius for that. But so they call Narragansett this so that they have jurisdiction over the land, when they absolutely don't. Because when you look up Rhode Island, it's incorporated, which means it's not the land. Just like Walmart is a corporation, it's not the land. Rhode Island's not the land. So when he showed up to the tribunal and said you lack jurisdiction, he just said subject. They lack land and persona. But as long as you can just challenge one. As long as that's not proven, then it has to be dismissed. You know what I'm saying? This is part of nationalizing. knowing this. Because your status is you knowing this and how it works. Because what, like, any issue, child support, mortgage, student loans, credit card debt, taxes, so-called family court, traffic court, anything. Those three prominent issues apply. Your status, jurisdiction and venue, and adjudication. If you ain't a judge, then there's no adjudication happening. Does that make sense?
This is a good segue into the recording.
Are you recording?
I've been recording.
Oh, I don't know what you be doing over there. Oh, do you want a raspberry thing?
What?
Yeah. All right, it's outside, it's over there. I left it over there.
That's
Want to bring it to you? I will do it. But yeah, I brought it because
I want one.
You want one?
Yeah.
I can get you one.
Yeah, because he's not getting mine.
It's strong and healthy too.
I'll bring one for you next time.
The raspberry thing?
Yeah.
Shoot.
I don't know if I got enough. All right. She kept it on the low. It's kind of like you know when you're in class, someone handing you gum. Where you get that gum from?
Yeah.
I got my last teeth. You get this? Alright. That's why when remember when you said to the magistrate, Europeans can't tell Americans what to do in America? That's land jurisdiction. Yeah. Land jurisdiction. Because
I can't find the word nice again.
nice.
You're looking in the wrong dictionary.
Go to the regular. Go to this one, the American Dictionary on the English Language.
Nah, I knew that.
I know you did. You was testing me. That's what that means. You was testing me. Make sure I'm confident. Y'all got this?
Hold on, and I got a question.
So you want to be late and you want to hold down play?
Can you clarify United States major and
Yeah.
United States minor, please?
So the United States minor.
Matter of fact, let me snap a shot and you can go ahead.
So the United States minor is this. The incorporated body that's not government.
Right.
They're acting like
Okay.
the United States of America major, which is the group of people bound together by common law. So they're acting like the organic people. That's the difference.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Can you give me an example?
Like,
I just needed to know.
So that's what they meant by Asia Minor and Asia.
no.
I thought those were the continents.
Yeah, when they talk about Asia major, they're talking about like up, like northeast and Asia minor, which would be like what they call Africa. But like, how do I explain this? Like if I go into your house, anyone, just when I say your, I'm living my way up. If I go into your house and start acting like you, right? I'm you minor, because I'm not really you. You know what I'm saying?
I get it, but what would be, my thing is, what would be the U.S. minor?
The U.S. minor, U.S. minor is the Europeans acting like the Americans. The United States of America incorporated, meaning not the land.
So we're the minor?
No, we're the major, yes.
Okay,
We're the people,
okay, that's what I meant. Okay.
Yeah, we're the people of the land.
I see how you're saying. So then when they start calling us names, they call us the minority,
Yeah,
which makes us the infant.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Which means incompetent. That make sense?
I like that, yeah.
Tracking? All right, cool. Just like there's a difference between American national and American citizen.
Yes, the brother start
Yeah, I'll explain that to you.
start saying, call yourself a national.
Yeah.
International.
Yeah. So, we know what a nation, you know what the word nation means, right?
Yeah.
We do? Do you? What does it mean?
Well, you gotta.
Ah, see, caught him.
No, I do.
Go ahead.
I do.
What's the definition of nation?
I do.
Bagged him trying to lie.
I'm like,
Yeah, I know. What is it? Hold on.
like-
Let me
where's the dictionary?
let me get my Professor X on. Oh, Put you on the spot.
So the state that's governed,
Huh?
the state that's governed.
Well, yeah, we're gonna go to that. But it's for her, because she act like she knows something. The nation.
Oh, okay. A country under one government, group of people of common descent, borrowed from Old French, Asian, and directly from Latin.
Yeah, so it's a group of people of common descent, which means bloodline, right? So, where is Brazil located? On what continent is Brazil located? So America, right? So Brazilians, the nation of Brazil, right, would be American nationals, because their nation is physically located on the American continent, right? So they're American nationals, because their bloodline is Brazilian, that's their nation, and the nation is in America, so they're American nationals, right? So, that's what an American national is. An American citizen can be a German coming over here and getting citizenship in one of the various countries here in America. Does that make sense?
And one
No.
language I
No.
think.
Put it back.
Job.
Hold on.
I don't think anybody got that.
So remember, the word nation means bloodline, right? So where is Brazil located? America.
South America.
So Brazilians would be American nationals.
I have a question.
Yes, hold on. Where's Haiti located? America. Right. So Haitians would be American nationals.
Right.
Get it?
You answered
Good. Where are Mexicans located?
it.
America.
America. So Mexicans would be American nationals. Now, where's Germany at?
Way
Europe.
over there.
Well, a German can come to Brazil and get citizenship in Brazil, if you know Brazilian government allows him. Then that German would be an American citizen. But his bloodline isn't American.
Oh,
It's European. So,
Now, as a citizen, he's entitled to privileges.
yes.
Not
Yeah. So
rights.
remember when you're dealing with status, right? We got this, Ernest?
Yeah, you can go ahead. You can go ahead.
Holding up the whole class.
Sal, you go ahead.
Oh, I'm good. That's my train of thought, joking around. What was I about to say?
Hold on, I gotta change batteries
Oh,
anyway.
I get you.
I can throw a wrench on this.
Since you know Indian, I'm a Cherokee.
So are you not against it?
Not against
Now,
it.
now you're talking about tribe. You're talking about
Listen, all
territory.
right, but I
But I'm a
said,
Moor.
but I said
Hold on.
Guatemalan, which
Yeah,
is
that's
the
a
same
country.
as- Okay,
Just like Morocco's a country.
okay,
Just like Brazil's a country.
okay,
Well, that's a land. And then the bloodline is Guatemala.
okay.
So can you, like, I'm trying to figure out what you're asking.
Think, where's your territory?
She's trying to have you call yourself a Rhode Islander, but in Moorish.
My territory or my country? Say it again?
She's trying to have you call yourself a Rhode Islander, but in a Moorish sense.
But a Rhode Islander
Are you
is,
from Rhode Island? I'm saying this, I'm just saying the
No.
land. You were born here? And
Yes.
this- And,
But
and
listen,
not against it?
that's why I wrote the difference between a country and a territory.
Mhm.
Because people aren't identified by what territory they're from. They're identified with their bloodline, the country.
Right. So your culture, you can't, so your culture, being Jamaican, Cherokee, Guatemalan thing, that even though
Well, you're mixing them. Now you're mixing them.
because Guatemala is a territory.
But, no, it's the country.
It's the country.
Within the country, there's different territories.
Right, so she would have to, like, what is she trying to say is like,
What territory am I from?
yeah, but then, like, we're mixing the culture. and-
Yeah, we're mixing it. Like
Yeah.
if you look at like the Kingdom of Morocco, there's a city called Fez. If you ask someone from Morocco, what are they? They won't say I'm from Fez.
I know. I know.
So what are you asking?
To
Did I
be
answer?
more-
Did I answer your question? Because now I'm confused.
Yeah, 'cause I'm trying, I wanna hear what you're asking.
Because I can say too, I'm a Moor, but I'm from a different continent. I'm gonna, if she asked me, I'm gonna say I'm a Cape Verdean.
Mhm.
I'm more from Cape Verde.
Yeah.
I said I'm more from.
So now you're mentioning the exact country, which is the land.
Right.
But what she asking you is
Yeah.
basically the same.
So
Oh,
I'm
by
more
the
from
way.
Morocco. I'm from here.
Yeah,
I'm from here.
Yeah, America, Morocco.
So North
Is that what you were asking?
North of Mexico?
All right.
So did you say North of Mexico more?
Well.
That's the name of the continent.
All
That's like saying I'm a North American war.
So, but how you decipher the difference from a South American and a North American?
They
born
named
in?
the country.
in the country.
Like she
So
said she's a
South
Moor.
America just named the countries.
She said she's a Moor, but she is. More from where?
Guatemala.
Guatemala. Oh, okay, that's the country.
Yeah, more from Haiti.
Yeah.
That's what I said too.
So we would be Moors from Morocco.
Huh?
We would be Moors from Morocco.
Yeah. That's the name of this country. That's why I wrote down the name of this country is Morocco. The name of this territory is Narragansett. To try to alleviate this whole conversation that just happened.
I throw my situation because
Yeah, that
different continents, so
Yeah.
more perspective on
Yeah.
the
So
question.
when did they change it from Morocco to America?
No, Morocco is America. The word America is derived from Morocco. They changed it from Morocco to the United States. When did they do that? I'm not sure exactly when they did that, but there was a coup in 1861. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And in the 1870s when they started taking on the status of white, and then they started calling themselves Americans.
Yeah. All right.
But like Noble Drew Ali said, we lost our nationality in 1774. Huh?
I'm saying Washington claiming he's chopping down cherry tree and he's
Oh, yeah.
chopping down the flag.
Yeah. Any more questions?
Not that.
Trying to cut my
Is
head
it
off. Ah,
the real name for us Cherokees?
Anyanwea. Anyanwea. You just Google it. Yeah. I'm not even going to attempt to spell it. Yes.
Okay, so how, like, why would you say it's like America? Why would you say America? Like, when you're in the title, basically.
Of the
So, like you
continent?
said, like
Wow.
Haitian American, well,
Yeah.
Haiti, like
Haitian
America, like,
nation.
I meant, sorry, North America, like, but that's Haiti. Like, I'm confused because, like, I'm thinking this is America, like what they call America.
Yes, so we're taught to just refer to this. We're taught that only this is America. That's what we're taught. What I'm trying to do is teach you that that's not true.
Yeah.
Because this,
is a continent.
yeah, this isn't just America. Canada, or what they call Canada, is also part of America. It's North America. You get it?
Oh, okay.
That's the name of the entire continent, right? That's the name of the continent, but that name is derived from this.
Mhm.
Al-Moroccan is where you get American from.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you do more research on our ancient languages, we didn't really use vowels. So when you get rid of the vowels, you have this. You get that? And then we'll go back to what Noble Drew Ali said. And he's talking about the Noble Drew Ali gave us everything we needed. Well, alright, he said, have not been told, if I told you everything, you go back to sleep. He gave us more than enough. This is chapter 45, the divine origin of the Asiatic nations. And then I'm also going to read chapter 47. So chapter 45, the fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic nation of North America, because Haitians know they're Haitians, Brazilians know they're Brazilians, just the Moors up here think that they're black. So the fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic nation of North America need to learn to love instead of hate, and to know their higher self and lower self. This is the uniting of the Holy Quran of Mecca for teaching and instructing all Moorish Americans. I forgot to do the things to be every meeting. I'll do that after this. The key of civilization was and is in the hands of the Asiatic nations. The Moors, who were the ancient Moabites and founders of the holy city of Mecca. The Egyptians, who were the Hamites and of a direct descendant of Mizraim, the Arabians, the seed of Hagar, Japanese, and Chinese. The Hindus of India are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites, Hittites, and Moabites of the land of Canaan. The Asiatic nations of North, South, and Central America, the Moorish Americans, and Mexican Americans of North America. So that's telling you who's up here. The Moors and the Mexicans. Brazilians Argentinians, and Chileans in South America, Colombians, Nicaraguans, and natives of San Salvador in Central America, etc. All of these are Muslims. And then when you go into the coat of arms of all of these South American states, you'll see that they have this on their coat of arms. Just like in Haiti, you see it right on top,
Yes,
this. In Guatemala, you see this, right in the middle of their coat of arms. The Turks are the true descendants of Hagar, who are the chief protectors of the Islamic creed of Mecca, beginning from Muhammad I, the founding of the uniting of Islam by the command of the great universal God Allah. And when you do research on Prophet Iganawida and Hiawatha, they unified the Iroquois Confederacy here. And the Iroquois Confederacy was, you're dealing with the law of the great peace. And then the word Islam means peace. So the same thing that Muhammad did, the Ganawida did here with Hiawatha. And you'll see the Indians with the Hiawatha wampum belt showing that. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same culture. There's no difference, right? Then this is chapter 47. Egypt, the capital empire of the dominion of Africa. The inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. Old man Cush and his family were the first inhabitants of Africa who came from the land of Canaan. His father Ham and his family were second. Then came the word Ethiopia, which means the demarcation line of the dominion of Amexem, the first true and divine name of Africa. So Amexem is the true name of Africa. And then again, when you break down Amexem, that's where you get Mexican from. And Old Amexem is where you get Olmec from. And then where Olmec's word, that's where the Guatemalans are. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same people, right? The dividing of the land between father and son. The dominion of Cush, northeast and southeast Africa, and northwest and southwest was his father's dominion of Africa. In the later years, many of their brethren from Asia and the Holy Lands joined them. The Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit northwest Africa. So northwest Africa, that's here. They were the founders and are the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire. The present Moroccan Empire. That's where you get this, north and south and central, that's the Moroccan Empire. Not limited to that, but that's the Moroccan Empire. With their Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren, who sojourned from the land of Canaan seeking new homes. Their dominion and inhabitation, not residency, inhabitation, extended from northeast and southwest Africa across the great Atlantis, even onto present North, South, and Central America, and also Mexico and the Atlantis Islands, what they call the Caribbeans, the Atlantis Islands, before the great earthquake which caused the great Atlantic Ocean. The river Nile was dredged and made by the ancient pharaohs of Egypt in order to trade with the surrounding kingdoms. Also, the Niger River was dredged by the great pharaoh of Egypt in those ancient days for trade. And it extends eastward from the river Nile, westward across the great Atlantic. It was used for trade and transportation. According to all true and divine records of the human race, there is no Negro, black, or colored race attached to the human family, because all the inhabitants of Africa were and are of the human race, because there's only one race, and it's human. Descendants of the ancient Canaanite nation from the holy land of Canaan, what your ancient forefathers were, you are today without doubt or contradiction. There is no one who is able to change man from the decent nature of his forefathers, unless his power extends beyond the great universal creator Allah himself. So in class yesterday, Abdullah was talking about the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. Article 15, it says we have the right to a nationality. And then clause 2, it says no one shall be arbitrarily deprived of their nationality, and we can change our nationality. You can't change your bloodline. These holy and divine laws are from the prophet Nabuj Ali, the founder of the Uniting of the Moorish Science Temple of America. These laws are to be strictly preserved by the members of all the temples of the Moorish Science Temple of America, that they will learn to open their meeting and guide it according to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Every subordinate temple of the Grand Major Temple is to form under the covenant of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and to create their own laws and customs in conjunction with the laws of the Holy Prophet and the Grand Temple. I, the prophet, Noble Ali, was sent by the great God Allah to warn all Asiatics of America to repent from their sinful ways before the great and awful day that is sure to come. The time has come when every nation must worship under its own vine and fig tree, and every tongue must confess his own. Through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery. Due to the fact they honored not the creed and principles of their forefathers, that is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774, and the word Negro, black, and colored was given to the Asiatics of America who were of Moorish descent, because they honored not the principles of their mother and father, and strayed after the gods of Europe whom they knew nothing. So, the Moors of America, and you get Latin America, that's denationalizing them, because they're not Latin. We're all Moors, you know what I'm saying?
Good question.
Yes.
When you said at the end, 1774 was nationality, that's when the Constitution, that's when it was America.
That's the first Continental Congress.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's when it was.
Yeah. Yes.
And the American, what's the word? I don't understand what this.
Oh, because in our ancient languages, we only use consonants, we didn't use vowels.
Okay.
So that's how it would look without vowels. And then compare these two, it's the same thing.
So what do you
MRCN? Because you know, these are vowels.
We didn't use vowels.
Yeah, we didn't use vowels. So that's what it looked like.
What time was that, you said?
I didn't give a time here. Just do research on like ancient languages, and you'll see that. Any other questions? Good.
I have a question.
Yes.
So like Allah, right?
Mhm.
Well, I never like did my research or anything.
Mhm.
But like, what is Allah? Like, is he like, you know, in Christianity they have God like a legit.
Oh, this is perfect. Great question. Let me go into this and then I'll explain more. This is chapter 10. Great question. It's almost like Noble Ali like knew all this, right? This is chapter 10. Jesus spoke of the unity of Allah and man to the Hindus. I'm going to skip down to number 18. Man names the part of Allah he sees, and this to him is all of Allah. And every nation sees a part of Allah, and every nation has a name for Allah. You Barons call him Parabim. In Egypt, he is Thoth. And Zeus is his name in Greece. Jehovah is his Hebrew name. For everywhere, he is the causeless cause, the rootless root, from which all things have grown. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Zeus's name is Joe. What?
No, in Greece, his name is Zeus. Right? And then when you do research, right? That's feminine. Ah-A-H, that's feminine. Right? And then the creator, where are we created? Where's the human body created? In the womb. So woman is the creator. You get it? Another level of that is, I put it in my book. You'll see a naked man and woman. Because Allah is also an acronym. It means arm, leg, arm, head. And I put it in my book just because you mentioned the Christians. And Noble Ali said I'm going to use the Bible to condemn this government. Right? So in the book of Genesis, Genetics 1:26, it says, "Let us make man in our image after our likeness." So if the Creator is one being, why is it saying our and us? In order to create anything down there, you need a man and a woman. So that's the our and us. And then when you're born, you look like mommy and daddy. Right? And then Allah is, like I said, arm, leg, arm, head. And then again, you got the five points, right? Arm, leg, arm, head. And then again with the Hiawatha wampum belt, 5 glyphs. Arm, leg, arm, head. Venus. And then you do study on the Olmec culture, they tracked Venus for their calendars. Also the five civilized tribes, and then the 5 titles of nobility. Tracking? Allah is also all law.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. I was like, oh.
It is all of this. And we are we are that in flesh. You know what I'm saying? And then do your research on this. Alright. And since we're talking about the Creator, we're gonna just go into the this part right here. I'm gonna skip some of this, but this is chapter 1, the creation and fall of man. I'm only gonna read the highlight parts. I know it's not the full thing, but get the book. Just read it, right? So this is the creation and fall of man. Time never was when man was not. The thoughts of Allah cannot be circumscribed. The bodies and the souls of men are finite things, and they will change. But man himself is not the body nor the soul. He is a spirit and a part of Allah. Now remember when you were younger? Well, I did this like a few months ago. I was thinking when I was younger, I was like, I was always me. Nothing changed except I physically got bigger. That's it. I've always been me, I just physically got bigger. That was it. Does that make sense? So I'll read that again. The bodies and souls of men are finite things, and they will change. But man himself is not the body nor the soul. He is a spirit and a part of Allah. So we're all part of everything. We are the creator, just here. Man is a thought of Allah. And the word man, when you do the etymology of it, means to think. That's what it means. To think. All thoughts of Allah are infinite. They are not measured up by time. Remember we were talking about time earlier. For things that are concerned with time begin and end. The thoughts of Allah are the everlasting of the past onto the never-ending days to come. And so is man, the spirit man. So remember we were talking about time. It really doesn't exist. We just measure it by cycles. It's what we use to measure, like you said earlier. The child is as perfect as the mother is. And then when you do research into the Willie Lynch manual and the Christian Black Codes, it talks about how the condition of the child will reflect the condition of the mother. And then we look at the Shriners that have the sword through the Moabite woman's head, and the crescent moon and star representing the womb to suppress your mind, your mind, your mind, your mind, to suppress us. So man, the seed, must be deep planted in the soil that he might grow, unfold, as does the bud unfold to show the flower. The human seed that came forth from the heart of Allah was full ordained to be the Lord of the plane of soul, and of the plane of things made manifest. The word of the Lord's here. Like if we just stand still in this room, although all things vibrate, nothing's going to happen until we do it. So in theory, that book will stay there until I physically move it. Because I'm the Lord, or we're all the Lord on this plane. Okay? It's a verse. A multitude of lessons man must learn upon the plane of soul. And here he tarries many ages until his lessons are all learned. Perfected man must pass through all the ways of life, and so a carnal nature was full manifest. Without a foe, a soldier never knows his strength, and thought must be developed by the exercise of strength. And so this carnal nature soon became a foe that man must fight, that he might be strength of Allah made manifest. Now remember when I say Allah, we're saying Thoth, we're saying Jehovah, we're saying Zeus, we're saying whatever you want to call it, because you have the right to your own religion. So don't think I'm trying to preach no religion to you. People don't. I ain't. You know what I'm saying? Because this is what real religion is. But man, and then I skip some, but man will regain his lost estate, his inheritance, but he must do it in a conflict that cannot be told in words. Yeah, he must suffer trials and temptations manifold. But let him know that cherubim and seraphim that rule the stations of the sun and spirit of the mighty Allah, who rule the solar stars, are his protectors and his guide, and they will lead to victory. So you know, like when you have this feeling to just do something, that gut feeling, your insight and your intuition. I mean, we already know what we should be doing. There is no failure for the human soul, for Allah is leading on and victory is sure. Man cannot die. The spirit man is one with Allah, and while Allah lives, man cannot die. I'm just going to stop right there. So I personally think, religious studies should be done on your personal time, and then we come as a group. AJ squared away is what we call in the Marines. AJ squared away. We come here, squared away, and then we come together. You can be Christian, whatever you want to be. Whatever you desire to be. But since we're talking about Allah, we're all the Creator.
None of us know religion.
Yeah, because we've been given dogma. Yeah. Yep. We've been given dogma, so that's the
None of us know what religion is, according to the books.
We've been given dogma so that the rulers can rule and we can just argue with each other and debate and not go anywhere. Any questions? No? Y'all want to stand up and stretch because y'all look bored and tired? Questions? Y'all want to add anything? Any of you got a question? You look like you got a question over there pondering. No? No? All right. I wanted to go into the audio from court.
Still didn't fully hear it, so I'm gonna say things.
Yeah, so we'll go into that now. Oh, wait. I'm going to do the things to be read at every meeting,
Oh, yeah.
and then we'll go into that.
No?
You show up late and you don't sign in? How about it? You're on your own program. OFP is what we call it. On F program.
I have a question. Alright, so.
I knew you had a question.
Yeah, I have one actually. But in your mind, sorry, birth certificates are a contract, right?
Yeah.
So, do we say if I had a child, how, is it possible that I don't have a birth certificate?
You don't go to their institutions. You can have a natural birth. And tell them.
That's good.
Yeah, literally.
That's the healthiest way, actually.
Yeah.
It's the healthiest way.
Would you say with your socks on?
I'm brain.
Savage. Okay. But yeah, birth certificate's a bank bond. It's talked about in the Bible too.
What if,
Yeah?
in a situation, you end up in that situation,
In what situation? Giving
like
birth
in the
at home?
hospital? No, giving birth in the hospital.
Well, if you go to the hospital, you consent to be there,
Yeah.
but you still have, your First Amendment right to peaceful assembly, and you can't be forced to association. And Article 1, Section 10, there'll be no obligations placed on contracts, so that you can't be forced to contract. And then when you read the Treaty of Tripoli and Treaty of Peace and Friendship, it says you have the right to contract. And then when you go to Article 20 of the Declaration on Human Rights, it says you have the right to association, and no one may be forced or compelled to belong to association, which again is preserving your right to contract. You just need to know that.
So in that situation,
You can say no, and then take your baby because it's
okay.
your property.
In that
and leave.
situation,
Yeah.
could you possibly sign TDC,
Yeah,
all
you
rights
can.
reserved for your child on their
Yes.
birth certificate?
You can do that.
Okay.
But I think the goal is to not go to their institutions.
Yes, yes.
Because then we're giving them energy by doing that,
Mhm.
which makes it so that they're needed. You know what I'm saying? So, if, like again with that water situation, the one that was ignored was terrible. So if we just ignore them, they have to go back to Europe.
Mhm.
That's how I see it.
To not, like, we would have institutions in our own school.
Well, back in the day, our parents gave birth at home.
Right.
That was the institution.
But they're making it difficult now, because I have family members, cousins, and friends. My cousin in Georgia, she's having a baby, and I'm instructing her on how to go about it to keep the baby out of their hand. And she said it's the hardest thing to find a midwife.
Have grandma do it. I mean,
You said a
definitely learn how to
grandmother?
do it,
Yeah.
but I know what you're
That's the
saying.
thing, she's like in Georgia, all her family's in
Yeah.
the town.
Yeah.
You know
I
what
know
it
what
is? It's a lost art.
So it's
It's
not-
a lost
Yeah,
skill.
we lost our culture.
Yes.
Like a lot of these issues that we bring up is because we lost our culture. That's why these things don't exist.
Mhm.
Right.
Because we stopped practicing. And then we started following up the idol gods of Rome,
So then,
just like Dorelli said.
Mhm.
there's like, so, we return to the fold of government. Without these teachings, all that's left in front of us is their institution.
That's why Draw Lee came, to show us the example, to set the standard, like, y'all ain't that, and y'all were never that.
Right.
This is what you are, this is what you're not. And then go back to the ancient mindset of the foremothers and forefathers, where we were giving up, dad was in the tub with mom, grandma was there, everyone was there. Look, we're bringing in another champion.
Yeah, back in the day, it would have to be women practicing that culture again, and then
Yes,
protecting
well, look.
themselves constitutionally to
Yes.
go around and do it.
That's why Noble Draw Lee had women in his arms, because once we raise them, we're good. It's about raising the women. Not raising with a Z, raising with an S.
I like the point where you said, what if they imprisoned all of us, and our women are ignorant of the truth?
But that's what they're doing.
That's what they're doing, so now,
Now they
the kids are being raised.
the woman now.
about the-
Yeah.
You know what
Now
I'm
they're
saying?
going-
So the women are strong. That's how I was like, oh. That's not-
Look. If you go to Brother Abdul's book that I was telling you about, Moors and Masonry, you'll see that these Europeans,
Our kids away and taught us
Children.
things. The children.
hold on, let me write on the board again, just because I
Children,
think
children.
people keep forgetting.
I'll make that a habit. Children.
You know, like,
Side layer.
savage. Hidden. Now hit it from me. Kid. Actually, can you go to American?
This one?
Yes. What is kid? Can you read kid?
Who's that written
Everybody
by?
steal these books, man. Top block.
Why are you going to that? Let me show you this. See that? That sword, the Sphinx, and then the crescent moon. The crescent moon represents feminine energy, also represents the womb. Right? The Sphinx head represents the woman's head. So they're suppressing your mind, the universe mental, to suppress us. And I was seeing to be fair.
I have another question.
You have another question? Good. Hold on. Let me let's read what kid is, because apparently we're confused.
The word kid means a faggot, a bundle of heath and furs.
Kid?
Yeah. To bring forth a young goat.
A young goat. See? Young goat.
To show, discover, or make known.
This is a person of our women's minds. Express her womb. So what is a kid? A kid is a what?
Start saying the right things.
A kid
Yeah.
is a what?
To bring forth a young goat.
A young goat. So a kid is a baby goat. So do humans give birth to baby goats?
And what is to bring forth again?
What?
She brings what?
Look it up.
I sound like a grandma.
Yeah, right there.
Well, I'll just give you this. What we do is we beget other humans. Beget means procreated. Now the reason why I say that is because the word beget and birth are two different words. So beget means to procreate. Why are you laughing about that?
Because I'm tired.
Beget means to procreate. Birth, in the law book, means to bring wholly into existence. That does not mean procreate. Because when you create a corporation, you're bringing it into holy existence. The birth of a corporation. That's what a birth certificate is. It's to certify that a thing was created.
And BERT, isn't that the one with the Chinese boat?
Birth, yeah, birth means to anchor something.
Wow.
And so does bear. So when you anchor a ship, that ship's not moving. So when you put a birth certificate on a human, you're attaching a debt to them. You're anchoring them with debt. That's what the birth certificate is. But it's not yours. Therefore, the debt's not yours. You have another question. I know you got another question.
Oh, but children. So children.
Yeah, the child is a human.
I got into I won't call it a date, but I got into an argument with a man one time. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm an Aboriginal business, who's that? said, well, you got a birth certificate, you got a social security. And my first response was, no, I don't need one.
Yeah. So when we talk about the birth certificate and the social security number, you're talking about this. This is a French word, so the spelling might be a little off.
Is it,
Huh?
I'm trying to read in French, is it,
C'est the QV.
I don't know,
That's not it.
is it QEE?
Huh?
QEE.
I know. I've seen QE. I've seen it spelled many different ways. Just look that up. C'est the QV Act of 1580 and 1666. And then when you do the research, during these time frames, we were getting kicked out of Al-Andalus, the Crusades, the Inquisitions. So they were using this, because this is a trust created for someone else. So for the benefit of someone else. So the birth certificate is considered a trust instrument. You get what I'm saying? Well, we're declared incompetent, so they become the administrators of that trust. And that's how they're converting our estate. Meaning, that's how they're stealing everything that belongs to us, by claiming that the name of this land is Rhode Island and not Narragansett. That's a conversion. And then they claim that they got the deed of trust from the Indians. That's conversion. Because a conversion means a transfer that never took place. So the birth certificate represents that your mother sold you, but a transfer never took place because your mother didn't sell you. And the birth certificate is void.
Yeah, I showed my mother my birth certificate.
It's not yours.
Well,
So you can't say mine. Did you create it?
no, you know that's.
I know what you're saying, but
I asked her, why is your name on your choice? And why are you an agent?
Yep.
She like looked at me like with 3 heads.
She didn't know. Now, can a minor enter into a contract?
Nope.
No. Is a contract valid if it hasn't been full disclosure? Meaning you don't know exactly what's going on? No. Exactly, full disclosure. And a minor can't be a party to that. So if they put your fingerprint or your footprint on it, are you a party to that now? If you literally just created, just came fresh out of the womb, are you able to sign contracts competently? No, so it's not my birth certificate. And since you didn't create it, how can you authenticate it? Right? If I wrote my book, none of you can authenticate that it's my book because I wrote it. Right. So the birth certificate comes from the hospital. So how can you possibly authenticate it? Now I'm only saying that because some people think that the remedy to this is authenticating the birth certificate. But again, it's not yours. You didn't create it. So how can you authenticate it?
It's actually the probate, the registrar's signature he authenticated.
Huh?
It's the registrar's signature he authenticated, not you.
You said they register it?
It's the registrar's signature he authenticated.
That's like you mentioned probate. You mentioned probate. That's why everything, if we don't put our stuff in trust, it goes to probate.
Yeah, it's a probate.
Because they have to figure out who's doing what with it because it's their trust. Yes.
You know, when they create the birth certificate, every time the doctor signs it, he's got about $5,000 to $10,000 for him.
Yeah, and they get more money when it's not a natural birth. And they have to cut the woman open to get more money.
C-section.
Yeah, and let me just read this because it's in the Bible. It's in the Bible, Book of Revelations, revealing. They're telling you exactly what they do to us.
But it's not a doctor that signs the birth certificate, either. It's the registrar. Registrar.
Well, the doctor performs the whatever, the birth, he gets that money.
Yeah.
So this is Book of Revelations, chapter 12. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, in pain to be delivered, when she's about to have a baby. And behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. And what do we know about the KKK? Who's the head of the KKK? The Grand what? Dragon. And the Grand Dragon wears what? All red. And we know what? These politicians, doctors, they're what? Klansmen. The dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. Now what happens as soon as the baby's born? They put the birth certificate on it, which is the debt. That's them devouring the baby. And that doctor is more than likely a Klansman. More than likely a European. And he's getting paid 5,000 notes to just be there. Well, now you know, right? Then, continuing with the book of Revelations, chapter 13, verse 17. This is talking about the birth certificate and the social security number.
What is it? What was that?
Book of Revelations, chapter 13, verse 17.
Okay.
And that no man might buy or sell, save that he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. That name is the all capital letters name on the birth certificate.
Yeah.
And the number is what? The social security number. And then whenever you want to get a car or whatever, or would go work at a job, get a bank account to save anything, create a business to sell anything, what do they ask you for?
Social name.
But they got us thinking it's the 666, and it's Satan and Lucifer.
666 is us.
Yeah, yeah, Lucifer is us. Lucifer is the light bearer. Light represents Carlos, truth, Saturn. Satan is Saturn. Discipline. We're here on a Saturday. Discipline. Right? So yeah, that's what they're doing in hospitals. And they told you, Book of Revelations revealing, they're telling you what they're doing to avoid karmic debt. And then we go down there, yep, pop out my baby, I'll sign this, and then go home. Right? We do it willingly. So are they tricking us? No, they're not. But what they are doing is they're keeping us dumb, and then they put our own people in charge of us, talking about we're Negro, Black, Indian, and color, to keep us dumb. So we take on the karmic debt, not them. Because it's our people maintaining the fraud. Just like the slick back attorney
Yeah.
and the public defender. They were Asiatics
Yeah.
fighting against us, and we're fighting for their birthright too.
I want to. You should sleep, man.
Yeah, he was yeah, because he slicked his hair back like he was somebody. He was,
Yeah.
it looked like he gelled it. It looked,
Yeah, he had a way short hair, but it was like permanent to cut it.
Yeah,
Yeah, permanent to cut it was permanent.
Yeah. Well, he was pimping people. He was Asiatic, brown skin, just like
Yeah,
me.
nah, he was Dominican and
Yeah.
the other one was
Putting bonds on people, warrants on
They
people.
was trying to come, you know what I'm saying? They was trying to get loud with
Our
us.
own people.
They was trying to get loud with us and trying to intimidate us, intimidate you know, I was up there, not trying to fight us. I was looking at him like.
All right, now I gotta go into the things to be read every meeting. Then we're gonna go into.
Damn, man, if you know this information, then you should be ashamed of yourself.
They're sellouts. You see the movie Django, right?
Django?
Django? Yeah. And Samuel Jackson was like, "Who's that nigga up on that nag?" And then Samuel Jackson was the one that snitched.
He was like,
That's what they're in the house niggas. Well, Dirty Moors is what Riley told us to call them, Dirty Moors. So now,
Even in Birth of a Nation, the house.
Nat Turner?
Yeah, the woman that turned the house servant they had, after Nat Turner started to rise, he cried. He cried to all of them, saying, "You gotta kill this. You killed us all."
Because he sold them out.
And that they're trying to free, he's like, "Come free," and they're like, "Nah."
We don't trust you now.
Crazy. So it's just like the same niggas today.
Just like Slickback attorney?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly what sit back. Nah, he permed his hair and he cut it, man. Like back. He got a perm and he cut his hair.
He got a nice set though.
Both of them did.
Yeah. Oh, and for the camera, for the record, the public defender and the city prosecutor were in the same room, closed room, like this big, at a table with a bunch of names on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Issuing bonds on people, which is money. Well, notes, like. So they talk about Moors selling Moors? Yes, it's them doing it, not us. It's just their dirty Moors, and they call themselves Black, Spanish, whatever. I mean, that's really what it is. So to grad every meeting, time. Wait, we haven't read the two? We don't. All right, so to grab every meeting, then we gotta close out. Moors are men, upright, independent, and fearless, who care for their loved ones and follow the prophet to a destiny which is not uncertain nor unknown. They are fortified by the impregnable doctrine built upon love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. It is therefore folly at its greatest height for smelly culprits with insidious plans to invade such a realm. They try and try by their own bad planning brings down wrath upon their heads with the sword old Democulus had. Intrigue and scurrilous cunning find a difficult path to travel within the ranks of the Moors. This is so because the Moorish movement has been well planned by Prophet Noble Ali, whose latent powers are abundant, unknown, and may be called into action as a matter of defense at any moment. Prophet Noble Ali knows the people within his ranks who are interested. They are the vanguard of the movement as the Moorish hordes increase here in America. All of the Moors are active, not passive. A member's interest can only be in one direction, and having traveled over the roads years before, the Prophet knows where every member is along the road. A few feet below is another road where schemers work, where traders grin, and culprits bask in the sun. They think they are on the same road with true Moors, but the Moors are high above on a pinnacle where they might view the destructionists as they fall for the last time and their bones bleach in the sultry midday sun. Hungry scavengers flying high catch scent, devouringly crying out, caveat emptor, cast out the dead carcass. The Moors high above see the plotters, purveyors, the worst that exist, hurl themselves downward by their own works as the hawks await. To be proclaimed at every meeting, Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim that I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so that they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I'm calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance, and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works, which I have performed in the past few years, Prophet Noble Ali. That's all false. The Moors, to the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam. This is the instructions from your prophet, Noble Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is on now, but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I, Noble Ali. And that's why many hearts have been turned to stone, and many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, lest they would be confounded of their sins. So slip back. These are trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah, in the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for your good work. Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Ali. Prophet warns all Muslims to be ready in every meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be a severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings towards the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the laws as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet, no Gujarati. If the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Peace, no Gujarati. And of course, if you got rich pride and love your race, join the Moorish Science Temple of America, because you know who you are and who you fall by the work. Where there's unity, there's strength. Together we stand, divided we fall. So I'm just going to sign out on camera. Peace. Thank you for tuning in. Study, study, study. Catch me with the study next. You say study yourself. RiseOfTheMoors.com on the way. What's it .org? Right?
Come again?
RiseOfTheMoors.org.
Yeah, .org.
Coming soon. Stand by.
Oh, no.
What?
We did do .com.
We'll figure it out. Peace. So look, since we haven't got kicked out yet, we'll go into the audio. Can you look up motion in the law book? Because remember she was like,
Yeah, oh my gosh.
motion. Because so knowing that this is your land, right? Read motion and then ask if that's what you were doing on your land.
Motion. Motion. Is it motion or motion for decree, motion for judgment?
Read. It says motion, right?
Just read motion.
Top, and then what does it say?
Parliamentary law, the formal mode in which a member submits a proposed measure or resolve for the consideration and action of the meeting.
So it's a request, isn't it? So you're asking. It's a proposal. I propose we do this.
Yeah.
Yea or nay?
Yeah.
Nay. Get it? That's why she was asking, is this a motion? You were making demands. She was trying to get you into giving her jurisdiction by saying motion, which you didn't do.
I never did.
Yep. So we're gonna go to audio. For those of you who weren't not there, if this is loud enough, we might have to school circle around me. Yeah, you're gonna have to come in and put up. Scavengers, huh?
He's ready to fight. Smugglers.
Oh, you did get the part. Oh, that's me up there. Look, Zach.
Yeah.
Oh, you did get it. I thought you didn't get
This is
it.
your video, John?
No, I got multiple people. That was Miguel.
So,
Yeah, he's speaking.
so
You got your speaker? Yeah, he got speakers.
bring him, please.
Yeah, hell yeah, go get it.
My video is supposed
I didn't hear you. My bad.
to. No, back now.
He's like, I always got this on deck.
Stay ready.
Or you want a card? You want a wire?
I think I got Bluetooth in here.
The only one is 5 minutes and the other one's 16.
Yeah, everything's open.
Huh? Oh yeah. Let's see if I can learn how to figure this out. Bluetooth. Is it on?
Is it on?
Yeah, it's on.
No, I think
Onyx Mini.
All right, I can do that now. Yep.
Where the wire?
we might. You know how to do this? Anyone know how to do this?
Yeah.
Plug it in.
Alright.
Plug it in.
You do it. I don't know. I can teach you law, though. I can teach you law, though.
You was thinking.
Figure it out.
Yes, sir.
I really don't know. I've never done it. It's
Go to options over there.
How many more does it take to?
You know you can just type in Bluetooth on your
I did
search.
that. It's right there.
I love like this one.
I'm already in the settings.
Bluetooth.
I'm already there.
Bluetooth. Add.
Huh?
You're right. You're
Yeah.
right. Oh, yeah, that's Bluetooth. You gotta pick it up now. Couldn't connect. Get out of
That
here.
dumb. I'll play video cameras.
Listen, is it?
Just plug in, get the cord.
We were trying to use our Professor X skills to try to metaphysically connect the Bluetooth to the Wi-Fi.
It's probably funny.
How many more does it take to plug in?
Huh?
Speaker?
I am Professor Economics.
That was way back in the savviest technical Morris.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Don't know.
Savage life. All right, so the beginning is me going up there, and they stopped me from going up there.
Some of it is repeated stuff because I got it from 3 different phones.
So she asked what law says that, because I said I'm your counsel.
Yeah.
And she said, are you a bar, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I said, no, we have the right to counsel per the American Constitution. And then I went to the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, which say we have the right to be there for each
Only a criminal defense attorney or civil defense.
You see that guy? You see him behind me. That's, yeah, they were surrounding us. You'll see.
Have a seat, sir. You're welcome to stay in the court.
That's a guard.
You can't be on there. Good morning, sir. Nice to see you. And counsel, you represent
I don't know if you see, but there was 2 of them that escorted me down to sit down.
Sir, you were arraigned on crime on April 4th.
Oh, that's Slickback standing there.
Yeah.
You were released on bail.
That's him. Asiatic. That's the 2s right there. That's one of the sheriffs, or
He's a
one of the
bailiff.
policy. Yeah,
He's a bailiff.
one of them. And the magistrate's European.
The person with cognizance with the allegations of good behavior, he's not
That's like that.
crimes. You pled not guilty. Sir, you're before the court right now.
That's what she was getting to. She kept calling you
You
sir.
pled not guilty to 4 misdemeanor charges. You were referred by the arraigning judge to the public defender. You went to the public defender's office. They did an interview.
So,
She tried forcing on me.
yeah, so when we got there, there was no contract between him and the public defender. So he had no power of attorney to represent me.
None.
And then again, when you read improper persona, it says pleadings not made to the court in proper persona makes you subject to their jurisdiction, right? So in the hallway, another Asiatic public defender asked him, like, what do you want me to do? Are you firing me? Because an attorney is an agent of the court, meaning they work for the court.
Right.
So if he was a party to him presenting himself, he would have got fired. Because their only duty is to turn us over to them.
Take a plea, take a deal,
Yeah.
take a deal.
And when you read the book Inquisition, Reign of Fear by Toby Green, it tells you that same exact thing. That their private members, the bar, were set up to speak for us and abandon us or abandon heretics.
What book is that?
Inquisition, Reign of Fear by Toby Green. And we do the research on what a heretic is. A heretic is a free thinker, a free man.
Yeah.
They found you eligible for his services. Public defender's office entered their appearance and now are
And then she
The
said the public
Inquisition.
defender entered his appearance.
The reign of fear, you said?
Inquisition, Reign of Fear, yeah. She said they entered his appearance. And appearance is admission to jurisdiction. A special appearance is challenging jurisdiction. So you have to listen to the language that they're using.
Little words.
Counsel, did you want to testify as to what's going on today? This is down the pre-trial.
Yes, Your Honor, I spoke with this person.
So defendant?
He said, I spoke with this person. Now, which kind of person are you talking about? Because in law, there's a natural person and an artificial person. So which one are you talking about? And then she said, you mean the defendant? As if he's a litigant and this is a legitimate issue. So again, trying to claim jurisdiction.
I spoke with him and he stated that he doesn't talk about representation, so I didn't get anything out of him. I never signed a contract, so therefore, Your Honor, he wasn't my son.
So the public defender is trying to say he spoke with him and he's saying, Tuza's saying, there was no contract, so he can't speak for me.
Common sense wasn't used because he went downstairs to apply for it, so now I'm here. So now he's saying he doesn't want me.
So he just said a contract doesn't exist, but he came downstairs to apply for it. So if you're applying for something, no, those when you apply for something, you write something on paper, right? An application. So that means a contract exists. And then he said again, prove it. If there's a contract, prove it.
You never went to their office and filled out
Even
paper?
even
No,
if he did,
that's it.
yeah. If he
You
went
never
down there,
signed for him?
No, that's why I said, show me the contract.
Exactly.
Outside the door, I said, yo, do you have a contract, bro? He said, nah, did you go play 50? I said, do you not have a contract? Yes or no? He said, nah. I said, there's the answer. Me and Jamal, there's the
No, I'm
answer.
just asking you, you never went downstairs when you first got arraigned?
When I first got it,
an interview with them?
Before I was conscious, I went, they said, oh, go to public defender, you have the funds if you need. I went for an interview, I told them what happened, that's it. Never signed it.
Is an interview a contract?
No.
No, but I'm saying,
Yeah,
when
he's
you
just
go
asking.
for an
No,
interview, you sign papers?
Yeah,
So
nah,
I'm
I
just
signed,
asking him.
yeah, nah, I didn't sign nothing.
So again, you're bringing up good points.
Yeah.
Because if he did sign something, prove it. If you can't prove it, then it doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's
Right?
that's nothing, bro. I was
Right?
like,
Yep, that's right, that's true, so.
So issues of law supersede issues of fact. So it doesn't matter if he went down there or not. The issue of law is, do you have power of attorney? The answer is no.
So, counsel, you did enter an appearance. He went to your office and applied to have a public defender.
He did.
And your office determined that he was eligible. And following that process, you entered an appearance.
Can you show me the contract?
Sir, this courtroom, one person speaks at a time. If two people speak at the same time, it's as if nobody's speaking. So, one person at a
So you see how she was trying to say he did all that, and he was speaking, he was like, no, I did not do that. You get what I'm saying? Because they're speaking on behalf of that corporate person. It can't speak.
right.
He's here to protect his physical body. Because what they've been doing with the straw name is they've been holding our physical bodies as surety to that straw name. So whatever they do to that instrument, we have to pay that debt. So what we did was protect his physical body on the record. Camera footage of him being there, saying, I'm not it. I'm a free man, you don't have jurisdiction over me.
In between all of that, the only thing you should say while they're trying to claim the jurisdiction, you just object.
Yeah,
But him speaking is objecting.
Yeah.
No, but he has to state that on the record.
It's okay.
Every time
But
you
notice
every
how
time
she
you
came back
talk,
with,
I
oh,
object. You should have
she
said, I
came
object,
back
object,
with a
or
remark
we see
to
it.
try to, this is what they try to do. So she came back with a remark that will make the public view him as belligerent. Oh, one person speaks and it's,
Right.
so when you throw out that
Object
quick,
everything
when you
she
throw out
says.
that quick bullet, objection.
Yeah, yeah.
And let them continue to speak, it's for the record.
It's for the record. They both tell
And
me
you're
that same
doing it,
thing.
you're doing it more on your square. You're not being belligerent. That way she can't come with that. Oh, one person speaks and
That's it. Right,
Miss
right.
Bosnoveldorf.
That's just that when it goes.
Objection. Yeah, I went to my stop sign joint.
Those are
My
the
brother came
citations.
Hold on,
to me.
one person at a time, because if multiple people speak, it's as if no one speaks.
And it's a fact.
Because we are on the record, so.
I'm glad on the record right
All right,
now.
hold
It's
on.
a fact. It's a fact.
Yeah.
I went there and I noticed the same thing happening. So the only thing she can't throw a smart remark at is objection, because it's factual, it's law binding. But when you come with, oh, but wait, no, that's not that, they deem that belligerency. So when we play in this chess game, your objection is your move. Objection, pawn to 7-6.
I like that. Now, Poet told me that.
You let them
2 days
speak.
ago.
But for the record, you objected in the middle
It's
of
on
it.
the record. She's not making. The poet said the same thing you said. He said the same exact
And then after the objection is inserted, after she's done talking, now they have to bounce back to your objection.
Right.
That's where the game is played. They bring you back around. Now you talk on your objection after Bosnoveldorf has shut her mouth. The objection is this, that, the third. This is what I'm saying. All of that what he's saying, I don't even know who you're talking about. He's drunk, high. I don't know what's wrong with him.
She has to have grounds on her objection.
That's how
as
you
well.
keep it so that she doesn't throw those comments on the record.
Right.
To make us look bad.
Well said. Thank you, bro. Poet said the same thing. What's up, guys? Good looks. Well said.
Ready?
The public defender is here, has entered an appearance. He's in this case as your attorney. You can make a motion to have him removed, that you don't want him anymore, or he can make a motion. But I'm not hearing that motion today. It has to be filed pursuant to the rules. The district court.
Can you show me a contract?
I don't need to show you anything.
Then because I'm not a defendant, I present myself. My contract is my contract.
If you're going to be filing a motion to withdraw as his attorney and you feel you have legal and factual grounds, I will hear it in 2 weeks. As I normally continue all motions, they have to be.
I'm here on special appearance to charge me to legal.
No, I'm not done. Sir, I'm not done speaking. We're both speaking. Okay, so counsel, you're going to be filing a motion to withdraw. Make sure it's served properly on everybody it has to be served on, and you follow the rules of filing motions, and you state the legal and factual grounds, if you have any, for withdrawing. I will consider it in due time, which is the normal 2 weeks. With that said, sir, go ahead.
Thank you very much. For the record, I'm here to present myself on special appearance and challenging the jurisdiction.
Say what?
Challenging your jurisdiction.
Jurisdiction. You don't have to, well, no, you're not done. Counsel, you're still an attorney.
So she said you're not done because the public defender sat down. Because remember, it can't speak. So the attorney had to be there to speak for it. You know what I'm saying? So she had to call him back up because you were speaking for yourself. But they were associating you with it, but you're not it.
But when he helped her, or when he helped him, she said not to.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. It's a conflict.
Like,
all around is a conflict.
Get up here, please. You haven't been excused.
Jurors must be sure. When I challenge a jurisdiction, it has to be proven. Therefore, for the record on the record, let the record show that in response to the instrument accepted for non-entitled property incident or proximity, I am here by referring all alleged offenses contained therein into the constitution.
Sir, I have one of those. I think you filed in the clerk's office, right?
So she's showing the affidavit that we sent in. Now, when we first went to challenge jurisdiction, she's seen all of us, so she called recess. So we went to the attorneys and we handed them a copy. And they were trying to say, well, this isn't on the record. And then, you know, they try to like call something happen. Like,
Yeah, they try to get
what's
loud. Like, what's up?
saying?
He's like, yo, what's up, dog? He's like, yo. Slickback was like, I'm gonna get, no, listen, right? This is part of the game. We come in a suit.
Yeah.
In a suit, listen, right? They're in the office, we knock on the door, yo. We knock on the door, I open it and say, yo, put this on the record. He's like, one of these.
Yeah.
He said that. We're like, yeah. Jamal's like, what do you mean? He's like, it's one of these. He said, you know you're not, what do you say? You know you're sovereign citizen, right?
Yeah.
I said, we said, no, we're not. No, we're not. Yeah, you are. Blah, blah, blah. And he's not trying to get out. You know what? Just get out. Get out. So Jamal kind of puts his feet like, wait, what's your name? What's your name?
Yeah.
He said, yo, just get out. We're like, yo, put down the record, but what's your name? He didn't want to say something, but like, yo, all we asking is what's your name, bro? He said, you know, I'm gonna call officials to get you guys out. So we're staying there, the African one gets up, he said, yo, man, just get out, man. He said, yo. And then Jamal kind of was like, yo, relax with asking him. Like, yo, Jamal was like, what? What's too funny, dog?
Colors came out of him.
He said, wait, but they're trying to get us to get robbed. I'm like, what's up? So when the people come, they can get him out.
Yeah.
But we say, come, we just laughed at him. We said, put down the record. We walked out. No officials came for us.
Yeah.
We didn't do nothing.
Yeah, we entered in peace and we left in peace.
People came back, They try to get us riled up so they can be like, what's up? Because most of like, what's up, what's good? They can be, yo, these guys are being belligerent now, get them out. But we didn't do that.
So, and remember, the public defender and the prosecutor in the same room.
Chilling.
Is that a conflict of interest? Yes, it is.
It never made sense
Hold
to me.
on. So we were like, it's fine because what they were trying to do, they were trying to weed out the crowd and make it last all day. So I was like, we can just leave if you want because we sent it to the clerk, so it's on the record. And Slickback attorney was like, it's not considered on the record just because she filed it. I'm like, we sent it to the clerk with the case number on it. Where is she filing it? If it's not on the record, where is it going? He's like, that's not on the record. And if you leave now, there's gonna be a warrant for you. There's gonna be a warrant for you because he was issuing the warrants.
Right, he was issuing the warrants.
Wow. But we didn't find out until later that he was the one issuing the warrants.
They was in a room together.
Yeah.
They were together chilling.
Yeah.
They moved together chilling.
Chilling.
Put up. He was on his phone texting.
They're brothers in arms. Bro.
Yeah.
But that's how they get their deals together.
Yeah, so I said, we said, what's his name? He said, yo, I don't know his name, bro.
Yeah.
Get him out of here.
And I was like, you're in the same room with this guy. So you don't know his name. And the room was like, they were like this far away from each other.
Chilling.
Yeah.
So
and you don't know his name?
If you can get them on a, what is it, conflict of interest? What's the?
It is conflict of interest because they're all bar members.
So doesn't that make the whole case null and void?
But the thing is, the prosecutor is also the city solicitor, so it determines on what aspect he's talking to him in. So if he's in there speaking to him as a solicitor, which is the one creating the bonds for the defendant, then he's speaking to him as a solicitor, not a prosecutor.
So he can lie and use that and say, well,
He
technically.
has two different titles.
So
He's a prosecutor and a city solicitor.
So he probably can lie, but well, I was talking to him about this.
So do you address him to find out which one he is?
But I'm saying, when they're addressing each other, it doesn't have nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
But when he's addressing you, he's a prosecutor.
Right.
But when he's addressing him in that room, he's a city solicitor.
Right, okay.
So then,
Okay.
all right, the two titles, but they have rules. So when he's addressing him, he has to be the prosecutor, and when he's addressing him, he has to be the solicitor.
Basically,
So
because that's how they're working their deals.
Yeah, but
For
either,
him,
regardless,
on regards of whether they want to
coerce
give
each other about
probation or
bonds.
whatever sentence they give it to.
Regardless, they shouldn't be able to coerce amongst each other about the bonds and all that.
Yeah,
Right?
it's just
He's
unjust.
supposed to be a solicitor when he's talking to.
But he's one in both. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
He's
but
one in
doesn't he have to
both.
play his roles accordingly?
I go both of you.
I get what you guys are, I get what
I
you're
see
saying.
He's
what you're
both,
saying.
but he's not both at the same time.
At the same
Right,
time,
right.
exactly. So basically, he's a prosecutor when he's in the court addressing the case.
Right.
But when he's addressing the public defender or a lawyer
That's
on
why they didn't want
a
y'all in the
different
room.
private setting,
Yeah,
he's a
That's why they
solicitor.
didn't want y'all in the room.
Yeah.
Because he's definitely
They working
stepping
something
over
up. They
his
working,
boundaries.
cooking something up
They
there.
want to do.
And
Well,
before
the
they,
fact
like
that
I'm
he
saying, to get back to the point, she was like, after the first instance, she was like, I'm gonna let this be known, I could be here all day. After the court was at 4 p.m., it was 10 a.m. I could be here all day, it's not a problem, trying to weed this out, to see, damn, we're gonna be for these many hours so people can leave.
They think we don't have.
But we didn't, nobody left.
That's
No
what
one
they-
was
that's
left.
what
The crowd got bigger.
You don't know procedure, man,
Hold on,
because
well-
you should actually went in there and you should just went in there and told her what they
Straight
should
up,
do.
that's what we gotta learn, like we said. We gotta learn.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. We sent it to the clerk so we could have left. But Slickback was saying we can't. And he said that wasn't on the record. But she just said,
And she
you
pulled it
entered
out.
it into the record. That was my main point.
Right, okay.
So it's
okay.
proof.
Did you get it stamped by the clerk?
Certified mail.
Everything, man.
Certified mail.
No, on the same date as well, when you went there, you
It
should go
doesn't-
down the second floor and get it stamped.
It doesn't need to be. It's certified mail.
Yeah, but that's.
But when they sign it,
There's even
hold on.
more.
When they,
Clerk
I know what you're
versus
saying,
report.
but to avoid that, to make it easy for us, certified mail, because they sign it, they get it, that means they
Once you
got
got
it.
it.
And
Yeah.
certified mail numbers on the paper. Because you know, on camera. But my point was, Slickback attorney said it wasn't on the record, but when the magistrate presented the affidavit, she said that you
It is on
entered
the
this on the
Did we
record.
ever find out his name?
Nah.
Slick
That's why
back?
they call him
They were
Slick.
threatening
I
to
can
fight
get his name, I
us.
can get his name. He
Yeah.
works at the traffic, he be there too. Because remember one time, I was like, yo, he looks familiar, I just remember like 2 days
You
ago,
talking
I'm
about
like,
the light skinned brother?
Spanish guy, yeah.
What's wrong with these?
I don't get it, man. He does some traffic stuff too.
I'm looking at the one's named Slickback, and I'm looking at Gorilla Back, right? And so I'm like, yeah, he was a big dude, so I'm like, man, these two dudes are offering up their own people for
Their own
slaughter.
people, that's what I'm saying, man.
It's like
For money,
sick.
for the bank account. For
Not
notes.
even money. Yeah.
For notes.
Status, man, status.
A fake status.
That's
Are
all.
we ready
it
to
is.
continue?
Right? So I have, sir, do address me and no one else in the courtroom at this point. I'm the judge of this court. I'm a judge. Let's move on.
Son, you heard that right? You heard that right?
Let's move on.
You heard that right? She said, I'm the judge.
Judge of this court,
He
I
said,
said,
magistrate.
magistrate.
She said, judge.
I
He
said,
said,
magistrate. She said, let's move on.
She shut up.
Let's move on.
Sunned her.
That's how you gotta give it to him.
Subject officer of execution of rule. I hereby demand that elected officers fully back that he's an elected official.
Swerve with the phone, she swerved it.
Oh, this is a repeat of what we just heard.
And following that process, you make a favor of either motion. But I'm not hearing that motion today.
We just heard that.
Sir, I'm not done speaking. We're both speaking.
You have to be proven.
Bring that back.
I honestly can't wait to see them again.
Hey, Steve. Hey, Bob.
Come on,
Hold on.
What you did with her, it was stimulating for her. She enjoyed it as well. You know
Hold
what
on,
I'm
let me
saying?
try to find out what it is. If there's multiple people talking, I can't hear it.
When I challenge the jurisdiction, you have to be proven. record show that a responsible instrument accepted for value title providence instrument with proximity. I am here by referring all alleged offenses continue to visit.
Sir, I have one of those. I'll give you 5 minutes. Right?
Very nice.
Right, I have.
Very good.
Sir,
Number one.
you address me, and no one else is judging me. I'm the judge of you.
You see how she was talking when you're talking? That's when you gotta hit her with what she gave you.
Objection. Objection. I object.
Not even object, like excuse the same thing she said when two people are talking and she started talking while you're talking.
Oh,
and
you know
just
what?
like the floor.
Eventually, I did all the antics. I did the same thing. The thing.
But you see how they are?
Before the first recess,
Arrogance.
let me tell you. Before the first recess, after the first recess, we came in. She was like, "Oh, I have all day." So I'm kind of looking over my notes. She's like, "Oh," because she was nervous. She's like, "Oh my gosh." She's like, "Hold on. Someone's turning pages. It's stuck with me. I can't focus."
He went like this.
I was just literally studying.
And she was like,
she's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." She's like, "I can't focus right now." Someone in the crowd got that. "I'm sorry." And she kept talking. She's like, "I'm sorry. That just threw me off."
She just couldn't get it together.
She was
for like
nervous.
10 minutes.
So what I did towards
about
the
it.
end was when I was thinking, I'm like, hold on, I can't focus right now.
Yeah.
Talking to me, I'm trying to focus. Right to the bailiff, I'm like, I gotta start over now. I stood up there for like 10 minutes. You know the people to sign when they're done? I stood up there for 10 minutes, looking at the paper like, can you just sign? I'm like, see, I'm losing my focus now.
No, even after he turned
like,
the
just-
page, a policy enforcer came up behind him, and he goes, "You want to put the notebook away? We don't want another situation like the last time." And he's like me turning a page?
No.
Yeah.
Notebook.
Oh, before thing two, I asked for the red pen. You should have seen the way they reacted.
Oh,
It was crazy.
They don't.
Oh, that's in there too.
I said
It is?
Yeah, good.
All right.
Yo.
Let's continue.
The reaction was.
Let's continue.
Number one, Subject Officer Execution Agreement. I hereby demand that elect officers prove the fact that he is an elected official.
Because multiple people were recording, and someone got caught with their phone out. I'm not gonna name anyone.
Yeah.
So that's why you heard him say, "Put your phone away." And then right now, his phone's going in pockets.
Once there's enough of us who's standing up to this, we'll be in there with a flipping
Now, like you just said, Corpus Juris Secundum, Volume 88, subsection 113 says the media has the right to go into these tribunals. And then when you read the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous people have the right to establish their own media, and the state has to recognize that. So once we put our status on the record with so-called Gina Raimondo saying, "Leave us the hell alone, get your people in check," then
it's a done business.
Right?
Sorry, the media company team.
I know.
In fact, the duties prescribed by law. If there is officer involved, please proceed their oath to the American Constitution and government. Number two, resisting repression.
Oh yeah. I said, "Do you have a copy right in front of you?" Read along with it.
Because she was trying to
cut me off to stop. Stop.
Yeah.
I said, "Read along."
Trying to like challenge his confidence. You see what I'm saying? Like they do everything to poke at you to try to get you angry or whatever. You know what I mean? Try to make you stumble and stuff like that. So, and then he just directed it right back at her. You got the copy in front of you. What do you have some questions for?
According to the common law rule, when a legal arrest is an assault and battery, the person so attempted to be restrained of his liberty has the same right to use force to defend himself as he would to repel any other assault and battery. Mr. Robinson was in under of 77 Each person has a right to resist an unlawful arrest. In such a case, the person attempting the arrest stands in the position of a wrongdoer and may be resisted by the use of force as an indefense. It is a common law right to engage in arrest. The legal word denotes agreement, consent, in order to do something. For Article 1, Section 10 of the American Constitution, which I copy for this moment,
a copy for you because.
Because I was reading, I just stopped and said, you have a copy. I said, once again,
He was being a smart ass.
Just being a smart ass.
Oh, all right.
Once again, you have a copy in front of you.
Yeah.
He said, so is it the I said, you have a copy in front of you.
He said he was representing the Constitution. He says, I got a copy if you want it. You know what I mean?
That's what I
No, I've been dealing with it for quite a few years.
So she's saying I've been dealing with the
Article
Constitution.
20 of the Declaration of Human Rights.
Let's continue reading.
Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1787, Article 17, the people have the right to associate and may not be found nor compelled to contract an association. Every man is independent of all laws except those prescribed by nature. He is not bound by any institution formed by his fellow man without consent. Cruden versus Lewis, 2N.C.N. 2N.C.1. Companies just provide proof that they are constitutional official office, that it is prima facie.
So he pronounced prima facie wrong, or prima facie, like tomato, whatever. And the public defender corrected him, and she was like, "Counsel."
He's like, prima facie, man, that's my air.
She tried to stop. So first he backed out because he fired him even though there was no contract. Then she was like, "Oh no, come back up here." But now since he's doing counsel's job, she's like, "You stop speaking for me." So it's is he here? Is he not here? Like, what do you want to happen?
He just created a world of incompetence for them too, in their own way. Because now the public defender who thinks he knows what he knows is aiding you when the judge knows that he shouldn't be
saying nothing.
So-called judge,
magistrate, yeah.
So it's like a
That's why
confusion.
she said, I'm not going to do that motion until 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he was fired, but not officially, even though he was there in pro persona. So he was fired.
Yes.
He was never hired.
Never hired.
You know what I'm saying?
Never hired, bro.
And he was killing him with kindness. Oh, thank you, Felby. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I said, wow, he knows I said he knows the new word. He knows the word, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
And the law do not apply to people as people agree. There is no evidence whereby I, as actually today, agree subject to laws and the statutes of the corporation state, of the corporate state, of Rhode Island, and the power of limitation. Thus, the power of police do not have jurisdiction. Once challenged jurisdiction cannot be assumed, it must be exited. Start this medical examiners, moment 4. TA.2B, 75, 211P, .2B, B89. The law requires proof of jurisdiction to appear on the record of the administrative agency and all administrative procedures. Agents versus Levine.
So he's saying jurisdiction has to be proven on the record. Now, how many types of jurisdictions are there?
Multiple.
What are they?
Persona.
Say again?
Persona.
Yep.
Subject matter.
Status.
And charge.
Yep. So they have to prove that they have jurisdiction over your physical body, which, on the record, you read that you're not a U.S. citizen, nor you're a resident of Rhode Island. So they don't. And they also have to prove subject matter jurisdiction, which the argument was genocide, which only the federal court can hear that, so they don't have jurisdiction. And the name of this land is not Rhode Island, so they don't have territorial jurisdiction. And none of that has been proven. Because we know the name of the land is not Rhode Island. I told you earlier, it's Narragansett. And they got a map to prove it. You know what I'm saying?
415 U.S. 580. If any tribunal find absence of proof of jurisdiction over person in subject matter, the case must be dismissed. Louisville Railroad versus Baltimore, 211 U.S. 149, 29 S. CT 1042. Number 3. Orderly conduct. According to the Act of State Doctrine, every sovereign state is bound to respect the independence of every other sovereign state, and the court will not sit in judgment of another government act general state of its own territory. Europeans cannot tell Americans to do America. Quote unquote, America.
It's a quote unquote America.
declare that the federal government has been dissolved by the Emergency Banking Act, March 9, 1993, for extension. Public Law 87-719, declared by President Roosevelt, being bankrupt and insolvent. House Joint Resolution 192, 73rd Congress, in session June 5, 1933, joint resolution suspended the gold standard of abrogate the gold clauses of the sovereign authority of the United States and official capacities of all United States government officials, officers, and the department is further evidence that the United States federal government exists today in the name only. Therefore, the federal government has no authority to grant nor confer citizenship. Let it be known that I am not a corporate U.S. citizen and I am a Haitian national, more simply referred to as a Moor or Moorish American. Under the United States constitutional system of government and upon individuality and intelligence of citizens, the state does not claim to control one's conduct to others. Because one side sole judge to all that affects himself. Mother versus Kansas, 1213 U.S. 623, 639-6. And 4.
Did you hear the part when he said Europeans can't tell Americans what to do in America? You get that? So that's also, again, all three jurisdictions. Just like, so remember the three elements, the three issues at law: status, jurisdiction, and venue. The venue also deals with the landmass, so the territory. So the King of England don't have jurisdiction in America because it's in England. Just like if you commit a crime in Japan, you're not going to go to China to be tried by a Chinese judge because the crime was committed in Japan. You know what I'm saying? So again, Europeans can't tell Americans what to do because this is not Europe.
Assault of police officers and other officials, initially. Again, the alleged officers must prove that
constitutionality.
That's how I said, dang. Constitutionality.
Yeah, constitutionality. So it's constitutionality.
Yeah. I said constitutionally. Constitutionally.
But still,
well, yeah, and
slaying them.
Yeah.
Slaying them with a rusted sword, though. trying to get that rust off.
Also, it has been made known to all members of the domestic police forces, U.S. Marshal Services, the Provost Marshal, members of the American Bar Association, and American Armed Services, that all individuals engaged in employment as federal and state and municipal employees and elected officials were giving notice that they are employees of private. I read that once more.
So read that once more.
It's awesome.
I'm bring it back for you.
Yeah.
Bring it back for you.
Again, the elected officers must prove constitutionally of their office. Also, it has been made known to all members of the domestic police forces, U.S. Marshal Service, the Provost Marshal, members of the American Bar Association, and the American Armed Services, that all individuals engaged in employment as federal, state, municipal employees, elected officials, are giving notice that they are employees of private, for non-profit corporations that were merely under contract to provide stipulated public services, having no special status, having no immunity, and having no authority as sovereign nations or states. Any actions that they take infringing on the rights and prerogatives of American state citizens are criminal acts without exceptions and are to be treated as criminal acts. These individuals,
I know,
Sure.
are you saying from this document that you presented to the court? Yeah, the clerk's office, is that the same document?
So when they do that, well, here's the trick. When they do that, see the trick? Right? She was probably about where this brother is right over there, right? So that's pretty far. What does it say? can't read that, right? So she said, is this the document that you entered into the record? How can you verify that? So in that situation, you would say, let me see. Let me verify it. Let me authenticate that. You get what I'm saying? Because they remember they were doing that. They were like, for other people, they were like, did you read this front and back? And they were like, yeah. About your distance, remember? And then they're like, is this your signature? You can't see anything on this paper, so how can you tell?
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So that's, and then you'll see how she tried to weasel her way in.
I read that, so I already know what you have to
So I'm making it
do.
for the record on the record.
It's all part of this, it's all part of the file, so it's here. It's part of the record.
It's on the record. That's what she said. She said it's on the record. That's what she said. And this is a record, and that's a record. So everyone heard that she said it's on the record. It's on multiple records now.
You should have said, ma'am, allow me to retort. The court we've just now learning that we taught.
I wish I would have. Listen, I was gonna read all 11 pages, man, word for word. I was gonna do it.
Boy, she said she got all day.
Listen, here, watch. I said it too. Listen.
Ready?
Listen, I said it.
That's why you had to be there. Action.
On the record, on the record.
It's not, it is on the record. Okay. It is. So, we can talk. You tell me what you want. You say.
So we can just talk.
Last jurisdiction. Is that your position? Do you want to talk about that? Without reading the record? Right, do you want to make a motion to dismiss charges? All charges, the 4 charges that are pending against you, the 4 misdemeanor fines that you are charged with. You're making a motion to dismiss that, correct? All right. Knowing that I have read this, sir, knowing that I have read this, would you like me to rule on your motion? What I do, from your court,
You told her yes.
rule on your motion.
That's what you messed up.
No, he never said yes.
Wait, what I say right here?
No, he says, you told her to rule on the motion.
Sir,
You did tell her.
knowing that I have read that, would you like me to rule on your motion? What I do, from your court, rule on your motion.
He said the
I said
nuclear.
nuclear.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah. Because I heard you say rule on my motion.
I got something. He said, catch my
Oh, I slipped.
Today I have to go finish.
See?
Make the decision. You want me to dismiss the charges against you, I have to decide. How did you respond? No, yeah. So you think that, I don't have to do anything to further this case, end it, or make it go forward? Is that your position? That I, as the person sitting in this row right now, making decisions in this courtroom, that on your case, I don't have to make any decisions. Is that right? Is that your position, sir?
For the record, on the record, we strongly dismiss a lack of jurisdiction on your part.
See? See how she tried to weasel him in?
Yes.
And he was like, no, I'm here on a special appearance to challenge your jurisdiction, to have this matter dismissed for lack of jurisdiction on your part. And listen to what she did.
On my part, making a decision, your motion on these grounds.
He never
I
said.
never gave her nothing.
Yeah, he never gave her anything. On your part doesn't mean I'm giving you anything. You're lacking something on your part. That's what
Yeah,
he
but she
said.
asked me what you want me to do.
Yeah,
I never said yes,
and he said, I'm here to have this issue dismissed for lack of jurisdiction on your part. That's what he told her to do.
So why not go pot again? No, she said this.
Yeah, he did say that.
See it.
She said it. She just made it.
You ready? Ready? We'll bring him back.
Who's ready?
All right, take. Sorry.
That's like a jackfruit.
That was about,
Yeah.
who bought that?
I was like,
Jen
this
did.
breadfruit, that's why I asked
Oh,
it.
no, yeah, she left it. I mean, y'all can have some. Y'all can
That
have
looks-
some.
Peace.
I don't know.
I gotta correct myself. Quit Nick.
Yeah.
Bully, American bully.
Let me know when it's.
Take care, guys. See you
Whenever
next
it's ready.
week.
All right, peace.
From the Caribbean.
I'm from the Caribbean.
Yo, you from Providence?
Atlantis Island.
Not from.
I think it's you I seen years ago with the fence walking up Broad Street.
Yeah, I always was out there tiki.
Yes, it is him. Remember I was telling you a story?
Yeah.
It was you years ago, like over 10 years ago. I seen him walking with a fence and I asked him. I said, what's that? He told me, talk to me a little bit. It was him.
Dope.
It was him, yo.
Always demonstrate.
It was him. It was next to Sanchez Market. I seen you. Next to Sanchez Market? Next to the hospital,
St. Joseph's?
it was right around there I seen you.
I be down there, and my brother Nassim was teaching. You know his son. His real name's Kevin Scott, but we call him Nassim. That's his name.
Yeah, yeah.
So we want, you're around his son's age, we want to be like,
Oh, yeah, bring him.
Bring him through.
I go,
he's working.
leaves, not me.
That's 10 hours.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
at work right now, but
Yeah.
he wanted me to,
That's why once we get a building, I'll be there all day.
that's, when I age, man.
All right, all right.
I'll send a picture.
All right, good.
Please,
All right, peace. Ready?
Info.
So she tried to weasel him in, and this is what he did.
That I, as the person sitting in this row right now, making decisions in this courtroom, that on your case, I don't have to make any decisions. Is that right? Is that your position, sir?
She said, me as a judge in this courtroom wearing this robe, I don't have to make a decision on your issue. Is that your position? And he said, well, his position is, me standing here in front of you. And then she said, on my part. Now, when you read the phrase, on your part, read it. And it does not grant anyone anything. You get what I'm saying? So she unlawfully made a decision without jurisdiction, which makes it what? Null and void. Right? Right? That's what it means in law, right?
My part, making a decision.
So he challenged jurisdiction. Jurisdiction was never proven on the record, and she proceeded anyway. That's
She did it
unlawful.
on purpose to get it. She knows it was going to get. She didn't want to look. She didn't want to get sunned in front of everybody.
Oh, even though she
She
got
did it
sunned.
on purpose. Yeah, she did, but she wanted to make face.
Yeah.
She did it on purpose. 'Cause, like he said, when we left, she's going to be on vacation when you come back, and they're going to dismiss your charge.
Yep.
That's when you interject like, ma'am, are you, Ms. Bosnop, are you proceeding without
Susan,
jurisdiction?
Susan, is that her name?
I seen what she
Are
did,
you
though.
proceeding
She
right now
slipped,
without
but she tried to be
providing
slick.
jurisdiction?
Yeah.
She got away, poet.
Dig her own grave.
Nah,
I never
she
give a
she
I never
didn't
give
get
nothing.
away. Ready?
She ain't get away.
These grounds is denied.
On these grounds, on what grounds? Because jurisdiction was never established. Was jurisdiction established?
No.
Because I didn't hear
What you talking
anything.
about?
She did it on purpose, man. She
I
gave
didn't
him.
give no jurisdiction.
I
I
didn't
know every time she calls you son and all,
Yes,
sir
sir.
and all that, you're
Yes.
claiming you're a marine merchant.
But
Every
he-
time she says sir,
But he
That's
said,
so-
I'm here
I don't think he
Yeah,
never.
but
to
even-
present myself.
Yeah, but even the way he presented that affidavit, he shouldn't have went there and read it. He should have presented, let them rebut it, give them a certain
Yeah,
amount of
nah,
time,
Yeah, but-
come back on another
Yes,
court date.
yes, but still, they didn't prove jurisdiction is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
right.
You're
Yeah, but I don't
you're
even-
right.
I don't even think they had they was like, nobody, there wasn't, the way he was, fighting that, I don't even think they had anybody else there to fight his jurisdiction for him, because the prosecutor wasn't doing nothing. The public defender was only her. So she made a determination, I don't know how or
Based on what?
but-
Besides-
Exactly,
right.
Which
that's,
makes it-
that maybe, like I said, the only other thing is she's calling you sir, sir, sir. Like I said, you're claiming to be a marine merchant when you do that.
That's
So-
that's her claim though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when he's saying, answering to it, he's
I get what you're saying.
jurisdiction.
Because he told me-
You're claiming you're a marine merchant now.
Because what I learned from him
Yeah, that's
saying,
the trick,
yo,
you know?
call me noble.
She did it on purpose, man.
No, we know she did.
She did it on purpose. Now, retrospect, look at that.
As
She
long
did
as the
that.
affidavit
She
says
says
it,
affidavit on it.
Yeah.
she can't do
Hey,
that.
Listen,
Yeah.
charges dropped, dismissed.
So basically, your affidavit
She's scared to be touched,
And I respect
you see what I'm saying?
which your affidavit is still on the record, right?
I'm record.
You need to use another one.
That's in the video.
And that's still on that. That wasn't a motion. and they have to put that.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
that's
exactly what
the
we're
next one you put
That's
in.
exactly what we're doing. Putting that we never filed for motion.
Yeah, notice of default.
Yeah, it was never a motion, it was an affidavit.
Yeah, notice of default.
Yeah.
Nah, I'll get you.
But, when you break the other affidavit, why you ain't challenge her at the affidavit with her album, with her
That's where-
article of
Well,
contribution?
that's why, that's, well,
So now you get the document to you.
the whole document,
They can't play that.
we read the whole document last week.
What's your name?
Joel.
Joel?
Yeah,
We indirectly challenged her, because we challenged jurisdiction.
Jurisdiction, yes.
Subject matter jurisdiction.
Oh, no, no, really, I'm just getting in.
But anyways, that's your
I'm
job
knowledgeable
anyways.
on-
No, yeah.
Fighting.
But you're right, because I didn't want to put everything into that, because I already
Yeah, I
know.
know that. I know.
You know what I mean, like hit him with
Yeah.
curveballs, speedballs, whatever, you know what I mean? So,
I know Wise is a serpent, bro.
huh?
Wise is a serpent.
Yeah.
Now, when you're out.
Yo, cuz, you ready? All right, fellas, peace. Take care.